Here is Jofra Archer's. This ball's been lofted straight to Moeen Ali. Extra cover. Jofra Archer's been gifted a wicket there.
In comes Jofra Archer, and that'll be runs. It's skewed into the offside, or will it not? No, it's a catch. A second wicket for Jofra Archer. And England can celebrate because that is the wicket of realistically Pakistan's final opportunity in this game.
Well, hello and welcome to the fourth T20 match between England's men and Pakistan. We're at the Oval in South London, and it would be just lovely to see some cricket this evening, wouldn't it? The frustration of Cardiff 2 days ago lives pretty firmly in the memory, and England and Pakistan will be desperate to get out there in the middle and fulfill the final fixture of this four-match T20 series that thus far has only had one game in it because of the washouts at Headingley and at Cardiff. So, fingers crossed the skies stay clear. At the moment, well, it is grey overhead. We have had some rain, but we are due to start on time. That is the excellent news we can report from here at the Oval, 15 minutes or so away at the start of this game between England and Pakistan, the final match of England and Pakistan's build-up towards that T20 World Cup that starts in just a few days' time. And don't forget, you'll be able to hear every ball of every game of that tournament as well. The really exciting news that we brought you today, that BBC Radio will have full ball-by-ball commentary of that tournament, and indeed ICC events over the next 4 years. So lots of good news, and good news on the weather front here as well. They've only played one T20 in all of 2024, this England side, and that World Cup defence begins on the 4th of June. So time very much of the essence. They'll be desperate to get out there. They have won the toss, England. They're going to have a bowl first, and only right that I turn to the bowler to my left first of all. World Cup and Ashes winner Catherine Sciver-Brunt. It feels like a bowling kind of day. The pitch looks a little green, it's overcast. It makes sense as well with the weather around to have a bowl first.
It does, and there has been a little bit of grass left on the top of that wicket, so that's lovely, because we all know that the Oval is known for being a belter. So it's nice to think that there could be a little bit in it with the ball, because we are always desperate to watch Jofra bowl.
Well, we are, and the good news from the neutrals' point of view as well as England's point of view, I think, is that England have gone for a really exciting looking lineup in terms of their bowling, because both Mark Wood and Jofra Archer are in the 11.
It's a bit of a treat, isn't it, today?
Oh.
I know you don't switch off. Stay in tune. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this one. It's such a great venue here. The stadium's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're close to a packed out house, so let's hope the rain stays away long enough to give everybody a bit of a treat.
Yeah, well, I think it's certainly going to be the sort of night where we're keeping an eye on the radars, but fingers crossed things do stay clear, because we want to see as much action as we possibly can. England, as I say, winning the toss, electing to have a bowl first, so in just over 10 minutes we will see the likes of Jofra Archer and Mark Wood having a bowl at a ground that is going to be packed out full, and supporters that have been so frustrated following the England team and Pakistan side over the last few days. Atif Nawaz alongside me as well. It feels like almost ludicrous that we're at a cricket venue and we're going to see some cricket, given what we've suffered over the last few days and week or so.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite frustrating really, because across all 10 of the women's and men's games in this series, and there's already been 3 that have been rain affected, 2 completely abandoned, and 1 in which we only got 6.5 overs of play. So it's been very frustrating, particularly for the fans who, they block out the day in their diary and they buy their tickets, and there are full houses for all of these men's games. Sold out today as well. I've had everybody and their uncles reach out to me to try and get free tickets, and I said, guys and girls, I'm very lucky to be here myself, and very privileged. It's very exciting to see these 2 teams. I would say 2 of the most exciting teams in the world, 2 teams who are definitely going to be in the running for the World Cup that kicks off very, very shortly, of which every ball will be on BBC, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But yeah, and of course they contested the last final, so it's nice that really the last major T20 before the World Cup starts is between the 2 teams that contested the previous final.
Well, indeed, and then the first game of the tournament, which is in 2 days' time, is a repeat of the first ever international game of cricket, the US against Canada, way back when. So lots to look forward to in the coming days and weeks, as well as following this game, by the way, on radio. We've also got live coverage on BBC television with Isha Guha for that on BBC Two, in-play clips and highlights on the BBC Sport website and app as well. Now, Catherine, building up to a tournament, and you know, ICC events, they can be full on, they're intense events. You want to get game time and as much of it as you possibly can, and to have lost matches will be so frustrating.
Yeah, it can either affect you or not. Some people like to hit 1,000 balls before they play, and some just need 10 good ones, and off they go. The confidence is there. Like, the mental side of it's nearly all of it, because the repetition and the instincts have been created. Thanks for that. Over the years, so you don't really rely on your technical side unless you're going through little technical changes. But you know, the average age of this team is like 30, I think.
Yeah,
or 30.3.
30.3.
Lovely. So there's plenty of experience in there. So we're not talking people learning things. We're talking getting in the right mental place. And I don't think these lads need to play much cricket to get in a good mental spot. I think the only person probably struggling for game time is probably Jofra. So whereas I think Woody's used to being on and off with all the, you know, what do I call them, ailments that he's had. He's got to be nursed. All our seamers have to be nursed. It's not a nice job to have to do, like having the freedom to be on and off, but then when you're on is nice. It's a luxury for England, and so yeah, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, well, it's an England side that is packed full of exciting talent. We know what power there is with the bat, and this is how they line up. So Phil Salt and Jos Buttler open the batting, and Buttler, who missed the last game, we know that he and wife Louise have been expecting their third child, but he's back on England duty this evening, captaining and keeping wicket. Will Jacks is at 3, then it's Johnny Bairstow, Harry Brook, Moeen Ali, Liam Livingstone. It is an immensely powerful top 7. Only the one left-hander in Moeen, who can act as a little bit of a sort of floating batter, so depending on match situation, one thing and another, he will be potentially moving around that batting lineup. Chris Jordan, Jofra Archer, Adil Rashid and Mark Wood. I mean, it is a pretty exciting team, that, Atif, and we love fast bowling. We love seeing what fast bowlers can do, and you look at the Pakistan side as well today, and it's absolutely elite again with the fast bowling group. You've got Shaheen Shah Afridi, Mohammad Amir, Haris Rauf, and Naseem Shah comes back in. I mean, this is going to be a thrilling contest.
I mean, it is going to be a thrilling contest, but at the same time, I worry a little bit about having all these seamers running around on might be a slightly damp surface on the outfield. I mean, England's going to be fielding first, so part of me is very exciting. I mean, there's nothing quite like the high octane cricket you get from, you know, ultra fast bowlers, people like Jofra Archer and Mark Wood. I mean, what a sight it would be to watch them open the bowling, although given the way England play, it might well be Moeen Ali opens the bowling with one of them. But again, from a Pakistani perspective, yeah, absolutely. You know, you've got 4 outstanding seam bowlers there. Imad Wasim given a break today. He was comfortably Pakistan's best player in the previous game, I thought. So yeah, it's a quite of a bold strategy, but I think it's very transparent from both teams that they want to just cover their bases, test out what everybody's feeling like, see some different combinations ahead of the World Cup.
Yeah, and interesting what they've done at the top of the order as well, this Pakistan side, because all of that talk that we had ahead of the first match that we saw played at Edgbaston with Siam Ayub at the top of the order, this young, exciting talent, and Ramiz Raja was saying, why have they broken up the partnership between Rizwan and Babar Azam? Well, the good news from Ramiz's point of view, who we'll hear from later on, is that it is Rizwan and Babar to open the batting, then Usman Khan, Fakhar Zaman, Shadab Khan, Azam Khan, Iftikhar, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Mohammad Amir, Haris Rauf, Naseem Shah. So they've gone back to that highly successful opening duo.
I think it's a one night only thing. I think they're pretty sure that Saim's going to be opening the batting for them, but there's been, you know, Usman Khan is a phenomenal story. What a story. I mean, he was playing for the UAE, he was working in the UAE system, working as a security guard for a while, and in his mind he was building up to playing for the UAE and had a deal in place with the other ECB, the Emirates Cricket Board, and had a fantastic run with the Multan Sultans at the PSL this year that helped them get to that final and caught the eye of the Pakistani selectors, and then was faced with this decision, like, I've invested 4 years of my life into qualifying for the UAE, do I want to keep going, or is the allure of playing for Pakistan that strong? And it turns out that allure is pretty strong, so he left that situation behind. He's come in to play for Pakistan. He's been rewarded for some very, very strong performances in that PSL, and everybody's very excited about him. I don't know if he fits into their first choice 11 as it stands, But this is an opportunity to push his case. We'll see if he comes in at 3, if he comes in at 4. At Pakistan, you're never quite sure. But Rizbar's back together again. That'll make a lot of people happy.
Yeah,
Rizbar.
Rizbar. I love the little partnership.
Oh, yeah.
We need one for England. Right then, Usman Khan. Yeah, it was that innings in the PSL, wasn't it? 100 off 30 odd balls that he got in 2023 that really launched that particular prospect, I suppose, before his debut a couple of months ago in Pakistan colours.
It did. It was also this, there was this kind of resistance. I mean, we're talking about Rizwan and Babar. There's all these schools of thought that, they should be separated. They don't play quick enough. They don't attack the power play. They try and play it a little bit safe. And then a lot of these sort of like younger power hittery type batters have emerged in the PSL where there are flat surfaces, so you do get value for your shots, and you're gonna, if you can play with that kind of certainty that the ball's going to carry and it's going to bounce as you expect it to. So in that environment, he's proven himself. In that environment, he's been very, very impressive and
his
become
strike
a prospect.
rate's been through the roof, hasn't it?
It has, and he's just like most power hitters, a very, very exciting player to watch as well. He's got every shot in the book, and I'm very pleased for him. He gets a chance to play in front of a full house here in South London. It's awesome. Oh, there's Chevy Green ringing the bell.
Indeed, from the ACE programme.
Yeah,
indeed. Nice. And actually, if you want to hear a little more of Chevy and the ACE story, well, it's on the BBC TV coverage that you can watch live, but also on the iPlayer. You can watch it again. So if you're out and about and we're with you this evening and you want to watch the game again, head to the BBC iPlayer to watch at your leisure. The England team are gathered at the far end of the ground in their red jerseys and the dark blue bottoms. They're ready to
get set on fire.
Well, I know it's always. I do wonder, because you walk between the flames.
Yeah, I'm always like, right, stay in the middle, guys, because there's a bit of a wind tonight.
Well, you're going to put the right products in your hair as well. You're going to be careful, Some
Not
of those.
Being funny, but Lauren Bell's hair should just go off. That is full of hairspray.
Is it full of the hairspray?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, because I mean
right.
it's difficult being a woman with all this hair flying around. It's not easy, It needs to be tamed.
Well, look at Henry's hair. You don't wake up looking like that, surely.
Oh, honestly, it takes hours of work to make my face look as beautiful as it does.
I'm going to stop talking about your appearance. I get a hard time for that all the time. I just wanted to say, while you mentioned Lauren Bell, by the way, if you are on the BBC iPlayer, check out the highlights of yesterday's game.
Well, indeed.
Where England were absolutely outstanding, and Sophie Eccleston equalling a record for fastest 200 wickets.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. Thank you very much indeed, Artif, for that little plug. So, Catherine, if you're an England bowler today and you're looking for rhythm, looking for what you want to get out of a surface that's not going to be like what you're going to be bowling on in the Caribbean, how are you approaching this as a seam?
Well, it's just like any game of cricket. You have to assess every pitch you're on, every series, every tour. It's different. You just have to remember what you remembered last time and take that knowledge forward, and maybe watch what happens in between the times that you were there last and the time you go there next. So they'll have been watching. They weren't in the West Indies that long ago, and there's been series there in between. So it's taking in that information, but playing this wicket as they see it. Like as you said, this is not going to be the same that much, but they have to play what's in front of them. So I think there'll be a bit of carry, a bit of bounce and carry in this wicket that normally is at the Oval, and these boys don't half hit the length. So it's not going to be. You're not going to want to roll this up and take it with you all around the world, but we want to. I think it's just about putting them on every team on the back foot from the off. That's been the ultimate goal, and how you win games. I think the bowling is the key to any World Cup win.
Well, yeah, it tends to be that the teams with the best bowling lineup win the tournaments. That's always the old mantra with T20 cricket. Right, the flamethrowers are being wheeled away. There are grey skies overhead, the floodlights twinkling on, but we are going to start on time. Happy days indeed. Looks as though Mark Wood might be opening the bowling. He's given his cap to the umpire. The two umpires, Saggers and Burns today, as it was at Edgbaston. And so, strap yourselves in. Yep. Stand by. This is going to be good fun. Artif and I are going to go and cower at the back of the box as we watch these 90-mile-an-hour rockets head our way. And Catherine Sibberbrunt, after some thoughts from you as to what England will likely be looking to do and get from the game in a more rounded sense, you'll be joined by Alison Mitchell.
Well, from here, Mohammad Rizwan looks very small, and so I'm actually terrified for him, for Mark Wood, because he doesn't half charge in. He charges in. There's no wonder this boy bowls gas. Like, I would just not want to be stood at the opposite end to him. And his run-up looks longer than it was the last time I watched him live, but maybe it's not, because boys' run-ups, they tire me just by looking at them. Sometimes I think they come from the boundary.
Hello, Catherine. This is an exciting prospect,
evening.
Isn't it? Good evening to you.
I'm actually buzzing. I love watching Mark Wood and Jofra Archer.
Who doesn't love watching fast bowlers and bowling in tandem? Which is
anybody listening, here. I'm so sorry but that you can't see it with your own eyes, but we will give you as much of the atmosphere as possibly.
Look how far back Jos Buttler is standing as well. He's almost on the printed advertising on the ground.
He's as far as back as
Mark Wood is with his run-up.
Yeah, that's the ratio they work at.
This should be a sight. It's Mohammad Rizwan who'll be facing up to Mark Wood. The countdown is on. The big screen says play. 1 slip in place in Moeen Ali. 3 inside the circle, then on the offside. 3 on the on. And they're having to wait because there's a small boy, and I think his dad, that is, moving across in front of the sight screen at the far end, and Mark Wood is pointing down to the sight screen to say...
pacing up and down like he is raring to go.
In a moment, he will unleash himself, but Rizwan is not quite ready.
No, neither
so we had the big build-up, we had the countdown. Now Mark Wood is ready to bowl. Floodlights on, murky skies, greenish tinge to the pitch. Rizwan waiting, and here's the crowd behind Wood. Right arm over, bowls fast, and Rizwan thought about, could he get a single? I'm not sure he knew much about that. Came off the bottom edge into the ground, and that really also kicked off the surface.
Yes, and as we said, we want to start well. Hit that line and length early, put pressure on, make them play your best ball when their feet are not going. He's already complaining about what he can see. The sight screens have about 6-7 rows of people sat below them, so that is a little bit awkward.
Rizwan has gone all the way down to the far end of the pitch, chatting with the umpire, now chatting with his
To be honest, Ali,
Baba.
looking at that is wrong. There's been a bit of... I can't believe that's not been noticed up until now, but what I'll tell you what is happening is...
Is it this bit of... Is it this?
Yeah, so
black sheeting?
We've got the sight screen correct for if we were on a pitch to the right of where Rizwan is batting, but as it is, what's directly in line with him is actually 6 rows of seated people who could move or wave their arms at any point.
Well, they haven't been asked to move at the moment, but they're going to have to stay stock still because Rizwan is clearly was disturbed by something. Ready to face his second ball. 2 slips in place now. Wood racing in, right arm over, full swing and a miss through to Buttler at quite a pace. Now, where's the speed gun? Because that seemed to fly through. Bowled it full. Wood's got a big old smile on his face.
Yeah, in true Mark Wood fashion, he puts that much into the crease when he braces that front leg that he's stacked it. I've actually done that many a times also, but not whilst bowling 90 mile an hour. He's got a lovely little bit of late away swing there, almost off the pitch. It was that, and he's drew him into the shot.
And I think actually Rizwan was lucky that it did move as much as it did. Wood in again. Now a bit of inside edge into pad and then out towards point and scampering one. And Pakistan are on the way, but Rizwan was the most uncomfortable of starts you could imagine.
Yeah,
the first 3 balls.
Couldn't wait to scarper to the other end because he's got hit somewhere there where I'll let you know in a minute off the replay, but it didn't look like a pretty place.
He managed to get down to the other end. That one's cut back into him, and it's come right off the
inside
high thigh. High inside thigh.
Never a good area to get hit that, Ali.
No.
And it seems that Mark is suggesting that the footholds, and this can happen on a fresh wicket, if it's not been scratched out a bit. So I always, on a fresh wicket, I always scratch it out and put sawdust down first. But they're doing it now after he's stacked it twice. I would, amateur. I'll have to have a word with him after.
Preparation, Mark. Anyway, he's tossing the ball one hand to the other, getting ready to race in once more. Baba is taking his time here. He's scraping at the crease with his right foot. There's slip in a gully. So Babar Azam to face his first ball from Mark Wood. Still haven't seen a speed gun yet.
I'm calling snicked off, caught first slip Moeen Ali.
Pakistan. Right. 1 run on the board. Wood in, clipped through mid-wicket gloriously along the ground for 4. Well, he was in full control of that shot, Babar Azam, and that is class against the pace of Mark Wood.
That was a beautiful bit of timing, wasn't it? And he's completely embarrassed my... I've just seen Mark Wood bowling a very good length just outside off and presenting a little bit of a way swing. He's gone wider of the crease this time, Mark, and he's angled it in, so therefore lost all the ability to swing it. I would have fancied him giving him a look at a swinger before doing that one, but Barber was onto it and it was beautifully timed that to the boundary.
Big vacant area in that region as well. Just the one man back on the fence on that side of the ground, deep backward square. Wood rushing in again. leap at the crease. It's a little straight once more, and able this time to be clipped fractionally behind square on the onside. Just the single for Baba. Rizwan holds up his glove to say no, and he's happy to face what will be the last ball of the over. Speaking, Catherine, about batters who might not want to face Mark Wood, did you read the quote from the PCB about why Imad Wasim is not in the side today? So there's no Saim Ayub and no Imad Wasim. He felt some discomfort in his rib cage in the nets, and PCB has suggested he rest
Have a
these
little
games,
look at
or
that.
whether he thought he'd sit out.
Could be
The
a little bit
prospect
of a fracture, maybe.
That's not a good sign for him. Wood in last ball of the over, drops into the onside, and they'll come back for two here. A chase there for mid-on to cut it off. Throw comes back in. So his first couple of deliveries, that line outside off wasn't the movement away which really caused trouble for Rizwan. But 8 runs on the board then after the first over from Mark Wood. The boundary to Baba, he's on 5, and Rizwan on 3.
And when you have as many when it's T20 cricket, right, sometimes you can get carried away with how you've got to keep it, how you've got to mix it up, how you've got to use your skills, how you can't really bowl the same ball over and over. But when you're Mark Wood and you're bowling 90 mile an hour and you're swinging it away off a good length like that, there's no need to change that. I think you should leave that, especially as, the first ball, Baba's first ball, he hadn't faced that yet, so it should have been allowed to have him experience that. And it's hard because you've got 4 overs before you're going away, and he's sort of wanting to showcase all his skills and make sure he's practiced everything. But yeah, that's the sort of delivery for me that's got to keep going with that as long as you can.
Well, here's another moment, because it's Jofra Archer from the far end, from the other end to Mark Wood, 92 miles per hour edge Baston, outside the off stump, little dibble down to deep third, and scooped up by Rashid on the boundary. Sends the ball back in, and a single taken for Baba. So exciting to have pace, extreme pace at both ends.
And it's unreal how he's played that, because it almost looks like it was a late decision of a leave and it's just taken his bat and run down to third man, but actually he's responded in about 1/100th of a second and purposely run that down to third man for 1. Because there's not, when you're dealing with this sort of pace, when it comes off the bat, it's gone, see ya.
You can use it to your advantage, can't you, if you've got your eye in. Rizwan to face up here. Archer inside edge. It's squirted away. Behind square. Could go for 4 here. Fast outfield, though. A sliding stop put in. Now, has Mark Wood done well there?
Yeah, and that's
I think the throw comes back into the middle.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. He's not even hit that. It was a full shot. It might have even been a wobble ball that's just come back in, and he's fortunate enough to get an inside edge down to fine leg, but it's just literally nearly gone for 4. I can't believe it.
Swung in a
swinger.
heap. That really hooped in.
We don't see that often from Jofra, and that's a new skill he's showing us there. Loving that.
Well, the swing was too much, wasn't it, for the batter, because that's why he came through and it caught the inside edge. He was playing for
Rizwan's face there. He sort of blew some air out of his cheeks. He was like, whoa. Didn't like that.
Well, the slip is in place, short fine leg in place. What will Archer come up with here? Up past the umpire, steps across, does a Rizwan, smeared across the line. Again, not out the middle of the bat, bottom edge into the ground and out to deep mid-wicket. He's able to take 1, and the throw comes back in. Well, I'll tell you what, after a fully washed out game in Cardiff, these two batters, as some would like to say, know they're alive out there against this sort of pace.
Yes, indeed, and that was a shot through frustration, wasn't it? A bit of a hack to the leg side from Mohammed Rizwan there. Didn't get hold of it at all. But the Surrey ground, the Key Oval here, it really, it's a square. Is it the longest square in the country?
It stretches
it's literally
the
from
whole
end
width,
to end.
it?
It's unreal.
Yeah. Archer moves in past the umpire, bowls, and it's driven nicely as mid-on. No runs for Baba, dot ball.
Lovely piece of time in that classic Baba. Mid-on
so stylish,
drive,
isn't
yeah,
it?
Just so nice to watch. It just makes it look easy. Like, if you can make facing Jofra Archer and Mark Wood look easy, like his first shot of the day, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? You just got to sit back and enjoy.
1 boundary to his name so far. 2 more balls in this over from Archer. He's in now, bouncer through to Butler, who takes it above his head. And Baba, I think, did well to leave. It's wide. He's dug in too short and over his head. Yeah, Baba was immediately looking towards the umpire because he shaped him. He wanted to pull, and then he just dropped the hands and the ball flew over his head to the keeper. So
it's a shame because that was a beautiful delivery. I was holding my breath a little bit in case there was a little edge, but we're just on a little look of it now. It is
comfortably overhead height.
It's just above, but it was rapid.
Remember, it's got to be its head height with the batter in his normal stance, standing in the crease, which is technology the IPL's been using, hasn't it, to adjudge wides. Archer moves in on a length this time, jabbed into the ground by Baba. Dot ball, no run.
That goes to show you how quick that he's feeling that delivery is, because for me, that's in Baba's wheelhouse for a pull.
Yeah, he was shaping for that, wasn't he? But the ball came on too quick.
He absolutely had to just change his mind very last minute and sort of play the ball down because of how quick it actually was. But any other bowler, I think that would have been carted.
The boundary protection is at deep backward square and deep third here for Baba Azam. Archer moves in, bowls full outside the off stump. He feels he's missed out. He was looking to drive bottom edge into the ground and out towards extra cover. So just the 5 runs from that opening over from Jofra Archer. Pakistan are 13 for none after 2 overs. That's after Jos Buttler back after being absent from Cardiff. He won the toss and opted for England to have a bowl, make the most of these sort of murky conditions, a pitch which has got a real green tinge, floodlights are on.
Yeah.
Bit of a sprinkle of a rain earlier. The cover of the pitch was covered when that rain came down pre-play. But
I'm sad we haven't got a wicket yet, because this sort of movement lasts so little amounts of time. It's so sad because you want to keep seeing it, don't you?
Well, Wood's getting another over here. He's talking about his role in the team. He sort of almost expects to bowl 1 at the top, 2 in the middle and 1 at the death. So he's getting 2 up front here to make the most of this new ball and conditions and his freshness. And got to remember, this is somebody who hasn't bowled since Dharamshala in a competitive match. He's racing in now. It's Rizwan who's on strike, driving and gloriously past mid-off for 4. Out through extra cover, really. Well, he committed to the shot.
Yeah, if we had another look at that, I would argue the movement's gone. And he was obviously bowling that ball hoping there would still be that little bit, a couple of inches of movement away, and that's just held its line and come onto the bat nicely. Had there been some movement there, he probably would have nicked that off to Moeen Ali. But
so if there was any away shape at all,
he'd be in trouble.
Moeen is still there at slip with Rashid on the edge of the circle at short third position. Wood rushes in, arms by his side as he approaches the crease, angled out, and there should be 4 more between point and cover, who are up inside the circle, and the crowd are loving it. Huge amount of Pakistan support here. The flags are in the air, a lot of green and white amongst navy and black, the jumpers and the jackets.
Yeah, and what you're seeing here is the dangers of ultimate fast bowling is you literally just got to let it hit about. You just got to lean on it. That was just a push, and it's raced across those 25 wickets square on this. Even though it's a long outfield there, it races. There's no point looking at it. So
what do?
He has got a squarish field. He's got the right field, because he's not somebody who's going to bowl you half volleys. So he's got the extra cover region open. He's got the right field. He just needs to tighten up his line.
Wood approaches. Bowls tucked off the hip by Rizwan. Length delivery behind square on that leg side. Rizwan through for 1.
It's a cruel game, because he's obviously been excited by that little bit of away movement, and then he's come back on for his second over.
It's gone.
It's gone, but he's kept that nice little line, which that would have worked beautifully for, but almost immediately he's going to have to potentially go, wobble seam, cross seam, straight back into the stumps and use that deep backward square man that he's got out there.
Moeen Ali has come out of slip now. He's standing at cover. He had a bit of a chat with Mark Wood.
Yeah. No
very
swing,
much
skipper.
Yeah, the vice captain, very much Butler's lieutenant, isn't he? Wood rushes in. That one sits up a bit. Wood's fallen over in his follow through, and Baba was in prime position to pull that away, but bottom edged it into the ground and found Brook at mid wicket.
Pace again. It was just too quick. Like, he's not allowing them to get in a good position to play that shot. So yeah, he's got to mix it now. Start mixing more. That bouncer will come in. The one off the hip.
That one that was punched for 4 by Rizwan, though he just sort of leant into it. 96 miles per hour from Mark Wood.
Do you know what that could be?
96.
One at one end, one at the other. Healthy competition. I want to be
just
the one that bowls
back
the
at
quickest.
the numbers for Archer. Archer hit 88 during his over. He hit 91. I think that's the quickest he managed in his 6 balls. In comes Wood again, and Baba gets the ball in middle and leg. He's able to clip away again along the ground in controlled fashion, takes a single. And Wood, again, stumbling in his follow-through, didn't completely stack it that time, but it's so much effort through the crease, isn't it, to generate that pace.
And that's it. That's why. Because that front foot has got a brace 10 times his body weight almost down in the crease when he lands. But he's got a beautiful brace front leg. I think his front foot actually doesn't quite contact flat. That's where he loses some grip sometimes. But it only takes to be a millimetre off for you to fall on the floor.
Wood wheels round at the end of his mark, as is his way. Comes racing in. He's past the umpire now. Rizwan is awaiting short ball that's flown off the surface and through to Butler. And Wood had his hand in the air as if something might have clipped the bat, because Rizwan did follow it as if to chase it for that uppercut.
Are we having a look?
No. Turning end of the over. Pakistan then 3 exhilarating overs, with Pakistan 23 for none, Rizwan 15 from 10, Baba 7 from 8. And Mark Wood mentioned that he hasn't bowled since Dharamshala. I mean, he expected to have a bowl, was hoping to have a bowl in Cardiff, wasn't he? He had hoped to play in the IPL this season, but had to leave Lucknow Super Giants. And yeah, he's got through his first 2 overs, conceded 18.
Yeah, he would be so sad about that. But I'm like, what I just watched, it was great. Like, that's what you want. You got a fast bowler, if not the fastest bowler in the world, bowling 96 mile an hour. Like, I'm just happy to see him running in bowling 96 mile an hour. I could care what happens the rest of the day. Like, that's just how fantastic that is.
By it as well.
And imagine him then in a week's time with some rhythm. What that 96 mile an hour with rhythm looks like. That's scary.
Change. So no Archer here. It's Chris Jordan in. It's a low full toss. Misses everything. Wasn't far away from that off stump either. Baba is just staring back down the pitch as if he didn't quite pick what was coming to him.
That almost felt like a plan, didn't it? Like, either his front foot slipped a bit, or, like, as we know Jordan, he is a Yorker specialist. Maybe they've just gone, do you know what?
Have a go. First up.
First ball, just do it. He'll be back on line and length this ball there now. Can't do that to Baba twice, can you?
He'll be waiting for it this time. Baba's on 7. Rizwan 15. Jordan sets off. Right arm over, an explosion at the crease, and that's patted down the ground. It's aerial off the bat to begin with, but only as far then as mid-on, where Harry Brook is fielding with his shirt hanging loose. The red shirt above the navy trousers of England.
Feel sorry for Chris Jordan. He's got the 4th over here, and if there's not been a wicket prior to that point, it's in the men's game. It's not a favourable time to bowl, because they've had their they've literally faced their 10 balls each to get them in.
Swing with that ball.
So
anymore.
now, he's in danger zone. Keeps that in mind.
Jordan moves in, bowls full again, driven, drilled. It was aerially past short extra cover, and it's gone for 4. A flash of the blade from Babar Azam, and now the waving of the Pakistan flags once more.
Is that Phil Salt at extra cover there? If there's 10, let's say there's 10 strips between, the batter and the edge of the ring, he was 5 in. He was very close there.
And that was a way shape from Jordan. He's got some movement.
He has got great hands.
He leapt like the old salmon, didn't he?
Yes,
One
that would
arm
have been a
up in
proper
the air.
goalkeeper, that, wouldn't it?
Would have been spectacular if he'd got a hand to it and it had stuck. It flew away for 4. 27 for none in the 4th. Jordan in again, drilled once more, wider of Salt this time. It'll be the same result. Racing across the square for 4 more. Well, it's glorious back-to-back boundaries from Baba.
It's a bit criminal from Jordan there. Like, Chris, you can't bowl those lines with cover up.
There's no protection.
No, you're bowling at one of the best batters of the last 10 years. You cannot give him that width when he's been struggling for boundaries. He's mishit that, but it's still gone for 4 because of the pure width of the ball.
I was going to say that there has just been the one fielder out. We're in the power play, didn't have 2 out, so now deep cover is going back, or a deep point. No, coming around to cover, and Moeen Ali swinging around to that short 3rd position.
It's a bit late for that now. This will probably be straight and drilled straight back over middle.
Let's see, could be right. Jordan, the 5th ball of his first over. It's a full toss now. He's going out towards deep backward point. There is protection there now. This is more along the ground. Coming back for the 2nd. Throw comes into the keeper. Butler's not able to gather it cleanly, but they've raced through. And actually, so much of Baba sprinting, he's ended up halfway back towards the pavilion. as he's passed the stumps.
Yeah, I told Natalie that yesterday, actually. She nearly got run out.
Oh, we're going to speak about Natalie.
And I said,
100.
You absolutely cannot decelerate on a quick one with Danny Wyatt.
I do remember that moment. There was no dive, was there?
I was gasping, literally gasping, because it's just like that's within your control. You can't control whether you get a Jaffa. I mean, you can control if you run, you bat in. Like, let's not be average at 31, shall we?
There's an unbeaten 100 from Nat Silverbrunt yesterday. Jordan in, bit of pace off that time, and it's foxed Bubba. Not able to get bat on it. Bounces on its way through to Joss Butler behind the stump. So 10 runs coming from Chris Jordan's first over. We've had 4. Pakistan 33 without loss. And Bubba has 16, 15. Trying to see the scoreboard.
16. Yeah.
Rizwan, sorry, yeah.
7. Oh.
No, Rizwan
17.
15. Bubba
Make your mind up.
17. Yeah. How was your wife when she got home last night? Because she was player of the match, wasn't she? Picking up, taking wickets, and the fabulous 100.
She had a good day, and she was due. I said to her, don't come home unless you've got to carry your bat off at the end of the game. She got that 100. I let her back in. I said, welcome home.
You allowed her over the threshold. You just recently celebrated your 2-year anniversary, haven't you, as well?
Yes, we did. 2 years of a day that was unreal, unforgettable. It was one of those weddings, right? You get weddings where you've been to weddings and there's a lot of cringe moments, isn't there? Or there's a horrific speech, or there's someone horrendously drunk and embarrassing, or your parents.
Not, but
there's always something, isn't there? A wedding.
Moeen Ali warming up, by the way, and about to come on.
But that, honestly, it was perfect.
Good.
Everybody's speech was spot on. If there's a sort of blueprint for a wedding, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but it was that.
You did it right. Moeen Ali then, getting ready to bowl to Rizwan. Moeen 2 for 26 in the game at Edgbaston. He's in now. Rizwan using his feet immediately, but hasn't timed it, and he's mishit it to mid-wicket. And Baba was backing up at the far end, sent back, but immediate intent from Rizwan.
Yeah, and it looked a bit like how he got out the other day, but not aerial. So he's a bit of lacking a bit of that timing at the minute.
Thumping his bat against the ground as Moeen is in. Along the ground this time, chips it down to wide mid-wicket, takes a single, gets off strike. Pakistan 34 for none in the 5th over. England winning the toss. Joss Butler saying, yeah, we'll have a bowl today. Archer and Wood in the England team. So the change from Edgbaston is that Wood is in for Topley. Pakistan have Naseem Shah in the side today. Moeen is in, used the feet, hammered high and aerial, over to the pavilion and into the lower reaches for 4. 6.
We're just changing round today. That's worth 10. That was glorious. Much better shape from him, wasn't he? He actually got to the. I think what's obviously done him before is he has not got to the pitch, because Moeen, as we know, is a very canny T20 bowler. You can normally see them coming down, but he came quite late then, and he got right to the pitch of the ball and just helped it on its way.
So lower reaches. I lost sight of it. I think that's actually gone above the sight screen, hasn't it? It's finished.
In that lovely hospitality-looking area.
Having them scatter. Drops one shorter this time, Moeen. And it's just a single.
That's rapid.
Down
60 mile an hour from Moeen. He did not want to get hit into the pavilion again. Or should I say not the pavilion, the Mickey Stewart members pavilion.
That's exactly right. It's the Mickey Stewart members pavilion now. Yep. We can't miss. Can't get that wrong. It's in large letters across the middle. 41 on the board for Pakistan, and after a couple of exhilarating overs in terms of pace, once the swing went from the ball, well, these two are starting to get their eye in. Moeen in again along the ground, flicked away with quick wrists, and Rizwan coming back very rapidly for the second here. The throw comes in from the deep. Another 2 for Pakistan's total, so no breakthrough yet for England, and we're reaching only got one more over after this of power play, and they will. Well, they can drop more fielders back to try and protect the boundary, but they ideally would have liked to have snaffled a wicket in these first 6 overs.
Run rate's nearly at 9s, so it's looking good from them. They would have been a bit worried at the beginning, but they've very much clawed this back.
Rizwan awaits, and he stepped away to leg and then just played a really nifty dab, and it's actually got underneath Mark Wood on the edge of the circle and running for 4, and I think Wood will be disappointed with that.
Well, he scrambled and he put a full length dive in. He did what he could. It was a good effort from Woody, but yeah, he just used the pace. He got in a position to hit a different shot, but realised it was a bit quicker, not in the right area that he liked, and he just helped it on its way nicely.
Well, it's been an excellent start for Pakistan now with the bat. 5 overs gone, 47 runs on the board with Rizwan on 22, Baba on 24. We've got Catherine Sciver-Brunt with us in commentary here, and Catherine with Jofra Archer is coming back on for another bowl before the power play is up. You're then going to be joined by Henry Moran.
Yes, the power play, the time of carnage, and we've got another carnage bowler coming on. But what I've liked, I really like the first 2 or 3 overs, right, but what I didn't like, I love Chris Jordan Wright. I think he's underrated, but we need to sort our lines. We need to adapt quicker. I'm talking World Cup here, quicker when the ball stops moving. We've absolutely, especially when you're not setting fields for certain balls.
Here comes Archer, and the pace taken off it really foxes Babar Azam, who has a little look around at Joss Butler as the over starts with a dot ball. The one thing I'd say about the conditions is up above the Mickey Stewart Members Pavilion, I know you knew the name of that as well, Catherine. The flags on the right, the Pakistan flag, in the middle the Union Jack, and then to the left across the St George, they all seem to be blowing in different directions.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's really weird, isn't it?
It's mind-blowing.
It's almost as if the sort of wind is just howling around all over the shop. Here comes Archer, and this is slammed into the ground, square on the offside. Long chase for the fielder in the deep, who does very well indeed. That's a good stop. Phil Salt herring around the boundary, gets there. And in front of that bank of supporters in the Galadari stand, he manages to save the boundary, and they get back for 2. 49 without loss. I can't remember seeing flags doing that.
No.
They're only about...
You don't need that when you're trying to decide which end to bowl from.
Well, I know.
It's a bit annoying, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't matter now because it's flat as flat.
Well, indeed. In comes Archer again, this smooth approach over the wicket past the umpire and dropping it short. That's quick. He might have got 4 for it though. It's brilliantly fended away, and again Phil Salt's busy and he stops it once more. 2 taken, 51 without loss.
Is that Usain Bolt out there, or Phil Salt?
Bolt or Salt, you decide. Honestly,
rapid. Both those shots, you'd agree, off the bat looked like 4, yeah?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. He's absolutely scampering around there. He's covering about 100 metres.
One hand off the bat. Yeah. That was a brilliant piece of fielding from
It was
Salt.
a lovely ball, that, actually. It was rapid. It looked like it just jagged back into his chest.
Yeah.
And he almost like just sort of... It was like, get off me sort of shot. Yeah, and just like, instead of breaking my ribs, I'll just sort of play it down there.
In comes Archer once more, giving himself some space, and he's not going to stop that. Whoa, what a shot, square on the offside. Baba's in the mood tonight, 32 from 20, and he slams it square on the offside. Brilliant shot, little bit short. 55 without loss.
It felt like he thought, right, I've got to give this full mashings. That Phil Salt, he's not going to stop this one, and he definitely put a bit more aggression into that swing. And Phil had no chance on that one. But he is sort of feeding this at the minute, isn't he? Really banging it in.
In comes Archer once more. The offside targeted, and again beating the infield. This time it goes in front of square. Moeen's dive is in vain, and Archer doesn't look terribly happy with the effort in the field. But it's 4 more. 59 without loss. Pakistan's promising start is turning into a very good one here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Jaws, and he's sort of... He's really trying to keep his composure. I can feel his body language just almost like, what on earth was that? Like, 3 balls, same area, same result. He's lucky that the first 2 didn't go for 4, because the second 2 did. But there's no reply, no slow ball, no bouncer, no wide of the crease, angled back in. It's confusing.
12 from the over so far. That's a little bit straighter. In the air, caught! Adil Rashid at short third, and there's the variation, and there's the celebration. As the rain begins to fall in South London, the flames go up and England have their first wicket. Babar Azam caught at short third for 36. Jofra Archer strikes. Not been a good over, but he does get the wicket. And the power play concludes with England's first wicket.
Much better.
There you go.
A little leg cutter, but on a really tidy length. Like, if we're not going to get our line right, lads, we've got to get the length right. It's sort of been... I'd say at least half our overs, something's wrong. We need to put it together, sort of thing, and that was exactly what we just called for. The ball before, just can't keep bowling that same ball. I mean, I'd like to see you probably help that on its way before.
I think
Henry,
that's
you know?
unlikely, Catherine, actually.
Yeah, not back away and just fling your bat out there.
I'd certainly be backing away.
Yeah, and me.
I'll be somewhere out towards the Tennyson School, I imagine. A bit like Ollie Robinson, the final ball of the Ashes in Hobart, when he faced a Pat Cummins delivery from somewhere near the Ricky Ponting pavilion.
How much money to stand in front of Joff and just let him? But you're not allowed to back away. You have to stand your ground. How much?
Well, the thing is, I wouldn't want to damage his confidence prior to the tournament starting.
Oh, fair, yeah. Fair.
So, no, I would. It's always that thing where.
20 quid.
No. Well,
Desperate times.
Well, you know.
Times are hard.
Yeah, we're in London. That might get me a half, I suppose. A single
At the
gin and
Marriott,
tonic.
yeah.
Something like that.
Quarter pint, please.
Yeah, you got it. We're going to see Adil Rashid. He's just taken that catch with Pakistan 59 for 1.
New batter, new bowler.
Yes. So coming out to join the action, we've got the man that we were talking about at the start of this game. He's made an extraordinary journey into international cricket. Debut this year, Usman Khan. Here comes the leg spin of Rashid, clipped into the onside. That'll be a single for Rizwan to move to 23, 60 for 1.
He's come a long way in a couple of years, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was working as a security guard in the UAE as recently as 2022. And
madness.
He now finds himself in the glorious weather of an English summer at the Oval.
Not a bleak looking sky in sight.
No. In comes Adil Rashid. Tossed up outside the off stump, and that's going to be runs immediately. Not a great ball, and he's going to get 4. Beats the infield, short third and backward point, couldn't stop it. And so a bit of a freebie for Usman first ball, 64 for 1.
Was there a slip in there?
No.
There wasn't, was there? I mean, it would have been the only reason to have been hanging it out that wide, but it was extremely wide and almost dragged a bit in the action. I mean, you've got to allow him some time to sort of get a feel, but that was poor.
Next delivery is a bit straighter, and that's nicely again cut away behind square on the offside, out towards the boundary where Will Jacks will field.
Perfect.
So, somewhere in the distance.
Third ball always the charm for me. Because unless you're opening, you've not had that. The warm up then becomes you've cooled down.
Yeah.
You need 3 more balls, 2 more balls.
In comes the bearded Rashid once more, and bowls him. Both openers out in double quick time. A brilliant power play has now been rather interrupted by 2 fine pieces of bowling. This from Adil Rashid is marvellous.
Oh, he really enjoyed that one, didn't he? He gave it a really strong fist pump that he's known for. The little finger swivel and then the yes. Wrong un?
Lovely flight. And
felt like a wrong un.
I think it's gone between bat and pad. It's got right through. Stump slide up, as you say. He enjoyed that, didn't he?
I think that was a bit of frustration from the last game. He got, was it no wickets for a bit of tap? So you always remember those. You sort of carry on from the last one, don't you? So I'd like to see the front on that, but I want to say it's a googly.
Well, we'll have a little look, but it was
just from the way it looked like it come inside the bat and pad. It's through the gate, if you like.
Well, here we go. And hard to tell from that angle.
It's between bat and pad. For me, that's a wrong.
Or was he just played down the wrong line?
Or has he just missed a straight one?
My first view, I thought it was a beauty, but
I think he's played for spin. He's played for a bit more spin, and that's neither. I think he's just missed a straight one there, mate. I'm not going to give much credit on the fact that when we see a googly, we're talking 5 inches plus. That just seemed to go on with the arm, to be honest, with the angle.
Felt like it, didn't it? Right then, so England's leading T20 wicket taker, easy for me to say, moves on to 109 as he blows on his hands just to warm up those fingers.
Really needed that wicket, didn't he?
Yeah.
He really needed that.
And he's got a man who likes this ground in his sights. Left-handed Fakhar Zaman gets a quick delivery first up, which is defended into the offside. It was on this very venue in 2017 in the Champions Trophy final where he got a reprieve when he was caught off a no ball against India in that final and went on to score, turned out to be a match-winning 100. Here comes Rashid again, punched down the ground by Fakhar Zaman, and he'll get a single towards wide long off. The score moves forward to 64 65 for 2. 66 for 2 is the score after 7 overs. Catherine Sibber-Brunt, you're going to have a little break.
I am. I'm going to have a cup of tea.
Are you? Lovely. Tea, just milk for you?
Yeah, sometimes I like a sweetener.
Okay.
I'm not sweet enough.
Well, there
I'm
we go.
trying, guys. I'm trying.
Working hard. There we go. Righto, Catherine Sibber-Brunt, World Cup and Ashes winner, with us as we see, I think we might be about to see Liam Livingstone have a bowl. So England going through their full spin repertoire as I'm joined by Atif Nawaz, who saw a blitz from Bubba and Rizwan, and then things have rather changed in the last couple of overs. 66 for 2 after 7.
Yeah, they had a very good power play, didn't they? They played some glorious shots, each one of them accompanied by a roar from the crowd here at the Oval. It was quite a spectacle. It all went wrong from the last ball of the power play.
Round the wicket then comes Liam Livingstone, and forward comes Farka Zaman and plays it back towards Livingstone, who bowls both off breaks and leg breaks, so you never quite know what you're getting. It's a very useful bowler to have in your armoury, someone that can really mix it up. A little bit quicker this time, and there won't be a run again there, as Livingstone, who I think, Atif, is going to actually be very important to England in the next few weeks, because those slow pitches in the West Indies could be surfaces he really enjoys bowling on, I think. Next delivery, clipped away off the pads into the vast expanse of green to the leg side, and scampering in from the boundary, Phil Salt again. 1 run taken, 67 for 2.
I like this from Jos Buttler. Just getting a few overs of spin in, just kind of, it's the kind of the style of bowling. You can steal a few overs here, just get that momentum out of the Pakistan team. A 200 becomes a 180, a 180 becomes a 160, so you really squeeze them in a phase where there's 2 new batters out there, and a bowler like Liam Livingstone, he's usually so quick, just gets on top of you. And now to your point, Henry, he's practicing leg breaks now. So to the left-hander, he was bowling off spin to take the ball away, and he was just doing some throwdowns to Phil Salt to get his leg spin on for the right-hander.
He's moving in now and bowls a horrible short delivery, which has been pummeled away for 6, so he's going to have to practice a little harder. Goes sailing away out towards the Tennyson School. It wasn't a great ball, drops it short. I think it's the danger with all leg spin, but particularly when you're trying to get your action going midway through the over, and that is a good shot from Usman.
Yeah, this is the kind of shot that's made him a star very quickly, Usman Khan. I mean, it's a short ball, it's there to be hit, but he spectacularly connected with it, sent it sailing away. He's faced 3 balls so far, 4 singles, 6.
Yeah, half tracker into the leg side it went. As next delivery's better. It's in the air! Oh, and drops possibly just a foot or so short of Adil Rashid diving forward at short third. It was not far away, and he leapt forward. It's hard to judge when it is as breezy as this, but I wonder if this carried, he might be quite disappointed.
Yeah, it was a very tough chance, but he sort of misjudged it a tiny bit. Adil Rashid had to go a little bit further forward than he actually did in the end. Usman survives.
Here comes Livingstone once more. This is mistimed into the offside. Usman will get a single out towards Harry Brook down below us, fielding towards the boundary, and wide long off, he'll throw the ball in with the score 74 for 2 after 8. Now here's the thing, Atif, I can only see 2 England players with their shirts tucked in. I'm not a stickler for neatness and that sort of thing, but
it's T20 cricket, you got to have a bit of fun, right?
Well, yeah,
a bit of fun. I mean, also just whatever it takes really to make the players comfortable in these conditions, because we talked about this at the top. I mean, there has been a bit of drizzle around. They played through a little bit of that rain that was coming in. Adil Rashid got the wicket of Babar Azam when it was properly pouring down. It looked like a scene out of Shawshank Redemption there for a minute, but whatever makes them comfortable, I say.
Moeen Ali's off spin from the far end of the ground, the pavilion end. The ball's hacked behind square onto the leg side towards Livingstone by Usman, who moves to 13, 75 for 2. I should say every ball of every game of the T20 World Cup coming up in how many hours is it? Not many. It's 1:30 a.m. on Sunday morning is when it all kicks off. So
every ball, did you say?
Every ball.
Every one.
So not tonight, not tomorrow night, but the night after, when you set your alarm, and we'll be with you. USA against Canada, Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas is a good town.
I've been to Dallas.
Dallas is good fun.
It's one of the few places I've been to in America.
Houston is the king for me when it comes to Texas, but Dallas is good fun. It's good fun. And I'm really excited to see what it looks like. I went over there for Major League Cricket last year to America, and it was just, like the passion that the fans show. They are proper they like their sports. We can natter a bit because there's a bit of a delay. I don't know what the umpire was doing. He had a little jog towards the side screen, and now he's come back.
Maybe something like batteries in the radio, something like that.
Probably something like that.
Moeen Ali then round the wicket to the left-handed Fakhar Zaman, who comes forward and launches into the leg side for 6. Oh, that's a good shot on one leg as well. It's spectacular batting. That's brilliant to see. Fakhar Zaman moves to 8. It's 81 for 2.
Yeah, flashes of 2017 there for a second. Just so dominant, Fakhar Zaman, when he's in form. He just advances down the track. You can tell he's feeling dominant because he just advances down the track. And it's the ball wherever he wants. So much power, so much strength in that bottom hand.
In comes Moeen. He comes forward again. Going to be stumped, is he? Oh, no, missed. Should have been. And Joss Buttler, who understandably has had a busy few days, missing the last match in theory for the game didn't happen, but for the birth of his 3rd child, and he's missed out there. A life for Fakhar Zaman on 8. In comes Moeen Ali, and this is more cautiously played, pushed into the offside, and there is no run. In fact, there is a single. They do scramble a single, so a 82 for 2.
I do like this from Pakistan. They've been very proactive today. They've been looking to be more attacking. Not renowned for this style of play, but it's good to see them, really trying to push against that perception that they're actually a very cautious team who like to keep wickets in hand and build for a big explosion at the end.
Here comes Moeen again over the wicket this time, swept firmly by the right-handed Usman. He'll get a single. Maybe feels he should have done a little better there, but one out towards deep backward square. 1 ball left of the 9th, and it's 83 for 2.
See, same thing there. I mean, the intent is very clear from these batters today, all the way from Babar, Rizwan, Fakhar, and of course Usman as well. They're there to try and dominate, to try and get on top of the England bowlers. Don't let them settle and register a big total.
In comes Moeen, and Fakhar Zaman's got underneath that. Could be a chance of a catch. It's Adil Rashid running in inside the circle. Oh, he's done brilliantly well. That was awkward. The ball dropping out of this grey sky. He had ground to make up from short third, and he got that. And it's a really good catch, that. For the 2nd time today, he's taken a chance and running round to take the opportunity and give Moeen Ali the wicket. Pakistan 83 for 3.
Yeah, he's having a cracking game, Adil Rashid. 2 best buds there, Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid, combining for a wicket. But that's vindication for the fielding coach, I tell you, because they were practicing those just before the game started. I saw them practicing their high catches, sending the ball a long way up in the air. If I was a player, I'd be complaining about that. Why? Why are we doing this? It happens so rarely. Well, it happened right there and then, and all that practice paid off. Adil Rashid taking it really, really well. A difficult catch, as you say, and they send back a really, really dangerous player in Fakhar Zaman. 9 of 9 is the least amount of damage he could do, and in walks a player who's under tremendous pressure, I would say, for Pakistan, is Shadab Khan.
Yes, well indeed, didn't have a great day with the ball the other day, so...
Or the bat.
Well, yeah, he needs to do something. In terms of that catch as well, just looking at the replay of that on the BBC television coverage, which is live now on BBC 2, the ball went up into this sort of Tupperware-like sky. You know what I mean? It sort of feels like we're inside a Tupperware box. And the ball was entirely invisible, even on the TV replays, the exact same shade of grey, white, and to have kept his eyes on it like that with the swirling wind and everything else, it's a brilliant catch. So, Shadab Khan joins the action with Adil Rashid going to have a bowl then from the Vauxhall end down below us. The outfield looking very lush. We've got fielders in the deep cover, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket and deep backward square. In comes Adil Rashid, and inside edge down to Mark Wood at short third, who throws and rather gets Shadab hurrying for his ground. 1 run taken to start the 10th, 84 for 3.
It's been good from England, really, just getting that wicket in on a regular basis. Just every time Pakistan looked to start to dominate, we saw Fakhar Zaman hit that huge 6 over mid-wicket, and he's dismissed. Babar Azam spanking boundaries in the power play, he's dismissed. Rizwan couldn't build any momentum either, dismissed. Like, every time Pakistan gets some semblance of control and momentum, England have managed to pull it back, and that's going to stand them in very good stead in the World Cup in a couple of days.
Well, I know, it feels remarkable. It is.
Days. I have to remind myself, not weeks, days.
England's a tournament opener. Against Scotland is on the 4th. That is very much days. Here is Rashid, bowls him. Shadab goes for a first ball duck. It's a 2nd wicket for Adil Rashid, who gets the high fives from his teammates. And for the 2nd time in this game, Adil Rashid has seen those stumps igniting a gloomy evening in South London. 84 for 4.
Shadab's miserable tour continues, his miserable run continues. It is tough to come in against your opposite number in a way. Adil Rashid, bit of turn, bit of bounce, a little bit of a ricochet off his pads, and he looks up so frustrated. But these things happen when you're out of touch. Other days that little ricochet will go off into the leg side, it'll go off into the covers. You might squeeze a single out of it, but this time he gets it onto his stumps, and Shadab has to go for a golden duck. He's already been under immense pressure, immense critique from Pakistani journalism circles. I think that's going to certainly continue unless he can do something special with the ball a little bit later. It should be encouraging for him actually, because Adil Rashid's been bowling really well. But this is just brilliant from England, just staying on top of Pakistan, not letting them get away, not getting overawed by these phases of Pakistan are coming at them, attacking hard. I'm curious to see how that continues with a very attacking player, Azam Khan, walking out to the middle. Saw him a little bit earlier, having some throwdowns, and just very simple throwdowns. Henry just like to spank them into the leg side.
Yeah, well, his approach tends to be pretty one-dimensional. See ball, hit ball. He is the son of Moin Khan, so a name that'll be familiar to many, and heads to the middle with Pakistan just in a spot of bother here, 84 for 4.
Yeah, second generation, as you say. His father won part of that World Cup winning side for Pakistan in 1992. And came over to the England tour as well in 92. He's a very sort of prolific cricketer, was Moin Khan, and Azam Khan is building a reputation of his own. Also, by the way, a very talented singer, guitarist, really. Bit of a sort of Pakistani Ed Sheeran situation. Very talented as Azam.
Really?
Yeah, very, very good. He's worth checking up on the old social media. If you do a little search, you'll see him strumming some classic Bollywood and Pakistani songs. Does a really good Atif Aslam, who's a very famous musician in Southeast Asia, Pakistani musician. And he does a really good cover version of him with his guitar. Looks very cool with the hat. And he's a cool cricketer, is Azam. Does a great impression of Babar Azam. Famously, I think after one of the games in Ireland, a fan asked for an autograph from Babar Azam. Babar had disappeared to do media, and a fan said to him in Urdu, he's like, Babar Azam kahan hai? He said, Babar Azam chale gaye under, which means Babar Azam's gone inside. But he mimicked the fan's voice back to him in a hilarious and really sweet sort of way. So he's quite the character, is Azam Khan, on and off the pitch.
Righto, well there we go. I'm looking forward to seeing this. There's a slip in place, and there's a pause. I don't know why, but there's one thing that we've learnt in following cricket, is that pauses happen and you're never quite sure why, but we are now ready to go. And Rashid, who's got 2-4, is creeping in past the umpire with this angled approach, and very slow as Azam Khan lunges forward. Oh, could be trouble at the non-striker's end, and as the throw comes in, they do eventually get back. I think there is one thing that is for sure.
There's another throw at the non-striker's end. This time it does connect, but he's home.
I don't think Azam Khan's going to be up for a quick single.
Well, it's reasonably quick between the wickets. I mean, people sort of make judgments about his pace and things like that, but he's worked really hard to be quite quick and get better at those turns. When you're turning for the two, he's been working hard at his game, but his strength is very much hitting the ball hard and far.
Here comes Adil Rashid. This is well bowled again. The googly comes off the inside edge, hits the pads, drops into the offside, and Rashid stands with his finger just in front of his mouth, almost as if to say, keeping you quiet at the other end, you're not doing anything.
He just goes slightly under the radar, doesn't he, Adil Rashid? You forget how great a bowler he is in this format, and in all formats really. He's just been an outstanding cricketer.
2 balls left of the 10th over, 84 for 4. Rashid tosses it up. Oh, another beauty, and a huge swing and a miss. That one turns quite sharply, and he's bowling brilliantly here.
And he's giving him loads of facial expressions as well. He's looking at him like, you sure you want to play that shot? Like Adil, he's got a lot of good chat as well, Adil Rashid. He's not shy from making a few jokes, a few comments. He's got his buddy in a leg slip position as well, Moin, and he'll be putting the chirp in as well.
Rashid again to Azam Khan, who this time plays a little more cautiously. Quick hands, whipping the ball towards Mark Wood at mid-wicket. And the over comes to an end. An excellent one from Adil Rashid. He's got 2 for 8 from 2 overs. Pakistan 84 for 4 after 10. And it looks as though we might be about to see Mark Wood having a bowl from the pavilion end of the ground. Right, Atif Nawaz, some more from you. And in a moment, we'll be joined again by Alison Mitchell.
It's been a terrific phase, this from England, just again settling things down a little bit, pulling Pakistan back. They looked so good in that power play. Looked like they'd be good for a 200-ish total. England probably pulling back those projections inside the 180, maybe even 160 mark, depending on how things proceed. But they've got 2 young batters out there, both keen to make an impression. Usman, playing his first international game for Pakistan outside of Pakistan today. And Azam Khan, who again is very keen to stamp his authority on international cricket, he's out there right now. I can see Chevy Green being interviewed by Alex Hartley. It's always lovely to see Chevy. He's a lovely man. Alison, have you had the pleasure
meeting Chevy?
Yeah.
I have. Yeah, he's an absolute star, isn't he? Does a great job with the ACE programme, based here at the Oval. And England are doing a great job in containing Pakistan now after they had that almighty power play. They had a very good power play. Mark Wood is back here, and he's bowling a shorter ball at Usman, who wasn't too sure about that, fended it away off his helmet almost. And one hand coming off the bat as he's scampered through for one, and it was fielded at deep backward square, but he was not comfortable with that.
It reminded me of a couple of days ago where Ellie Altroyd saved me from a bumblebee. That's what that shot reminded me of. It was just me sort of wafting away at something, and Ellie did something more graceful to let the bumblebee out of our studio. But yeah, she didn't look comfortable at all. This is something that's going to be new for Usman. He probably hasn't faced too many bowlers in the UAE or in Pakistan, on the surfaces in Pakistan, who bowl like that at that kind of bounce.
Yeah, and he's not a tall batter either, is he? So it didn't actually have to get up much to be in a really uncomfortable place for him. Now this is Wood to Azam Khan. It's a bouncer and he's ducking underneath it. He has a look though, and it's signalled wide.
Yeah,
Dug in hard. That was the speed gun just disappeared off the screen.
It was very quick though. He's found a good pace today, as Mark Wood.
88 that was.
Yeah.
Not as quick as he was up to 96 in his opening over. He dug that bouncer in short though.
I just saw Sever Brunt just signal that with her hands. That was a neat.
Great communication.
That was
we've got
great.
Going on
That
here.
was so good. She'd be good in a crisis, I feel like. Cat Sever Brunt.
Better remind everyone as well, if you want to watch some of these deliveries, you can see the in-play clips on the BBC Sport website and app. We've got Matt Henry doing the live text commentary. Mark Wood wheels round at the end of his run, in again to Azam Khan here. Gets another one, he's struck on the shoulder, it's ballooned up to Butler, who's taken the catch. Now what did that come off? The finger's gone up, he's been given out. Azam Khan is standing still though, he's not going anywhere right now.
Yeah,
So that was a vicious delivery from Mark Wood, and Azam Khan didn't know much about it. Is he walking off? Has he made a motion for a review? I don't think he's got much choice. I think he's tucking his bat under his arm and he's walking off. He must have gloved it.
He must have got a little bit of glove on it. It really spooned up in the air. But that is serious pace from Mark Wood. Really just rushed Azam Khan for pace. He was nowhere near it in the end. Oh, it's come off his shoulder.
Glove then shoulder?
Glove then shoulder. It must have.
Then shoulder.
The glove definitely for the dismissal, but the shoulder is where the pain will have kicked in, I imagine. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's the glove.
It's off the glove, which has taken a little bit of the sting out of it. But I mean, he instantly put his hand to his shoulder after that ball struck it. There's some rain falling as well, Atif. Let's hope that's only a brief flurry. But he's gone without scoring. Azam Khan, a duck from his 5 balls. Butler pouching that one comfortably, but that was a brute of a delivery from Mark Wood, and that is what will excite all England fans with this T20 World Cup to come.
It will indeed, and back-to-back ducks there for Pakistan, with Shadab going for a duck, Azam going for a duck. But more telling was the way that Azam was kind of outfoxed there. First he couldn't get anything on it from Adil Rashid, and then completely outpaced. Again, this is the kind of pace that a lot of these Pakistani batters haven't had the chance to face of late. There's obviously quick bowlers in their ranks, but in bowling, facing fast bowling in Pakistan and facing it on a bouncy surface at the Oval is in overcast condition is a completely different thing. And that was one deliberate one innings that he won't want to see back. Azam Khan, some serious pace from Mark Wood today. Him and Jofra Archer consistently clocking over 90 miles an hour. It's been scintillating to watch, and it's been very effective for England. 5 wickets down. They were 59 for 1.
59 for none.
None in the power play.
Yeah, when the first wicket went.
Huge turnaround.
Yeah, it was Archer who got Babar Azam for 36. Mohammad Rizwan followed soon after, bowled by Rashid. But then these last 3 wickets have fallen for just 3 runs. Pakistan were 83 for 2, and they're now 86 for 5. Mark Wood in. Iftikhar Ahmed, the new batter, stands taller at the crease. Wood goes fuller, and he's angled his bat away. Managed to get this one for 4. Angled it past Moeen Ali, who's up in the circle at short third. Adil Rashid was in position, but very, very fine at deep third. Not able to cut it off. Effective use of the pace.
Yeah, it's the one thing about fast bowling, isn't it? It comes quickly off the face of the bat as well. So if you can get the right bit of bat on it, aim it at the right bit of the square, particularly here at the Oval with a quick outfield despite all the rain, it's always going to run away for 4. So Iftikhar again into a phase of the innings that he doesn't really have a heavily defined role in. He's got to find some versatility in his game today if he's to get Pakistan to a decent total. That first shot was very impressive.
Jos Buttler has just plugged that gap. He's got Johnny Bairstow now between he and Moeen Ali, that short third position. Wood rushing in. Iftikhar looks to pull bottom edges into the ground towards mid-wicket, sets off for a gentle single. It's some time for Archer to move in off the boundary and gather. That was another 90 mile an hour delivery from Mark Wood into the 11th over. Pakistan 91 for 5. Iftikhar on 5 now, and Usman Khan is at the other end on 16. We've been joined by another World Cup winner in Ebony Rainford-Brett.
Hello.
Welcome to you. How are you enjoying
I'm
watching
enjoying
this
it.
spectacle?
Well, first of all, I feel like Pakistan have really let go of a good start. The way they started with Babar Azam and Rizwan in the power play, I felt they gave themselves a chance. But more excitingly, I have to be honest, watching this pace, rather than now saying there's a 90 mile an hour delivery, it feels like we should be saying there's an 80 something, because they're just bowling so many at pace.
I don't like the look of this, Ebs. The umpires coming together. There's some very light rain, it feels, falling. Ground staff are already wheeling out of cover, and yes, the umpires are taking off the bails, and we're going off. That is such a disappointment for this crowd, because they have been absolutely on the edge of their seats and lapping up the big hitting we saw from Pakistan during that power play, the pace of Wood and Archer, the wickets that have been taken, the catches that have been held, the misses as well. It's been an all-action 10.4 overs as we've managed, 91 for 5 at this point. So we've certainly got a match if they can, even if the rain carries on but then stops. Pakistan have at least got through that 10 over mark. We've got enough to hopefully make a game of it.
It's just extraordinary to think that both teams are playing a World Cup game in a couple of days, and this is not the prep, is it? 2 fully rained off, now that it's sort of a rain affected, and I think there's been enough for England to be able to see the likes of Wood and Archer get a run out, but equally you want them to be match fit. You want to test, playing around with the order a bit. We've seen Pakistan's made changes, so a lot of frustration really with rain stopping play for a while.
Yeah, covers are being brought on, the big wide covers to cover the square now, that big tarpaulin. It's not heavy though. The players are not exactly dashing off the field, and umbrella is only now just being brought out for the umpires, and the ground staff were not in any big rush, but maybe that's an indication that there's more to come. It's sometimes the case, isn't it, when there's a very light start to the rain, they bring out the big cover because they know it's only going to get worse. You mentioned the T20 World Cup, Ebs, at BBC announcing that there is full radio commentary on every ball, every match of that World Cup. So make sure you're with Test Match Special for that. The opening game at USA against Canada is in the early hours of Sunday morning,
I think I'm doing
UK
that.
time. Are you?
I think so,
Tuning
yeah.
at 1:30
I need
a.m.
to check fully,
Sunday
but
morning.
Yeah, we're going to be out there. I'm really looking forward to it. So Ramiz will
be there as well. Ramiz Raja has joined us. Welcome to you.
I think
Ramiz.
so. You're definitely there.
Yeah, I don't know about the first game, but my first game is, I think, on the 4th.
Okay.
I think it's...
When's your flight?
Day after.
Okay.
Yeah, so Dallas for 7 days, and then for that India Park.
You might need your cagoule for Dallas. Did you read about the tornado and see the pictures?
Yes, it's very wet. I believe.
Our preparation is going to be about as good as the England players' preparation at this rate. We've got like a day or two to get in there, and that's all they've got really lining up.
Yes,
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's extraordinary. England fly out tomorrow morning. Their first game against Scotland is on Tuesday. That, I believe, is 3:30 in the afternoon UK time for people to tune in. So England starting off in Barbados, Scotland and Australia, and then moving on to Antigua for Oman and Namibia. And Pakistan, Ramiz, have got, of course, India is the big one.
That's right, on the
in
9th.
New York.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be there for that. We're taking the Stump
fantastic.
podcast out to New York for that one. And then Ireland, Canada and USA.
Yeah.
Ireland could be slippery for Pakistan, I feel. They're that sort of side that, I would say they're above sort of causing an upset, because when they win, they genuinely win. But if Pakistan are on an off day, Ireland is a team
Yeah,
that
and it depends on the surface also. If the ball moves around a little, then Pakistan may find it tough, because the technique against moving ball is a bit off at times.
Yeah.
What venue do they meet at? Do you know off the top of your head?
Dallas, I
They're
think
in
so.
Dallas, aren't
Dallas, yeah. They played a couple of matches in Dallas, then a couple in New York,
Yeah.
and then where's the third one? Third
The West
venue.
Indies.
No.
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
Florida.
Played a couple of matches there.
The pitch at Nassau County, the pop-up stadium is going to be so intriguing, isn't
Yes,
it?
that's
It's the
right.
drop-in pitch, which has been overseen by Damien Hoff, who's the curator at Adelaide Oval. So I mean, he's world class. He knows his stuff.
Yes.
He will be. We had him on the programme on Stumped a few weeks ago, just before they were starting that big
What's he saying?
convoy.
All right.
Well, at that stage, they'd shipped the trays from Adelaide to Florida.
Wow.
And then that was where then they were beginning to actually put in the soil and start to sow the seeds and actually create the pitch inside the drop-in trays. Then it was the transport, 2,000 kilometres on road.
On road, is
Florida to New York. It was a convoy of some 23 trucks. And if you think
they prepared it in Australia.
No, they had to bring
Florida.
some of the steel trays, not sure they're steel, but the tin trays, like cake tins. Imagine a massive cake tin the size of a cricket pitch. So they shipped those
from Florida
shipped those from Adelaide to the States.
Wow.
And then they started to actually grow the pitches in Florida.
Okay.
But then they had to get the pitches once pretty much, grown and developed. Get those pitches by road in this massive convoy by lifting these, massive cricket pitches by cranes onto trucks, and then some 23 lorries over a number of days across the weekend. Then took these pitches from Florida 2,000 kilometres to New York, and then they had to be craned, into the pop-up stadium, which a little while ago was simply Eisenhower Park. So it's quite a feat of engineering, isn't it?
Absolutely,
it's very impressive. We've got a restart time, so in 10 minutes, 22 covers are already being pulled off, so it was only a brief little flurry. But the other uncertainty, of course, was to transport those pitches, because they're obviously 22 yards long or longer even. They had to be cut in half because you couldn't get a truck long enough, or you couldn't transport a whole pitch. So it was, literally slicing these pitches in two, transporting them, and then kind of putting them back together and making sure you don't put, pitch one, the half of pitch one against the half of pitch three. You've got to marry the right pitches up with each other.
If I was a bowler, I'd be trying to land it exactly halfway on the crack.
And the clays from Australia.
I have got this written down somewhere.
Adelaide, I think it might be. I think Forney was saying it's definitely Australia.
Yeah, okay.
I thought it was sort of grass that had been all curated in the States. So working with a turf company from the States in partnership. I'll double check that, but the actual
either way, it's been a mission.
If you like, the curating of it was taking place under Damien Hoff's watchful eye. He was making several trips out to Florida to oversee the sort of the growing of the turf. But it's going to be an unknown quantity. But
that's right. I don't know whether then to arm your team with spinners or pace, or whether you want to play an extra batsman. I don't know. I mean, because this decision can be tough for any skipper playing on a surface that is unknown.
Unknown and untested.
Yeah, untested.
It's an intriguing part of a tournament, which is it's already, T20 World Cup is already quite an open tournament, isn't it?
Yes.
Because and particularly with these unknown factors, particularly if there is a bit of rain around in the Dallas region or even in the Caribbean, it's sort of rainy. It's not quite the rainy season, is it? In the Caribbean, but I mean, I've been warned that it could still be hot and wet at times, and that of course brings teams closer together if there are any rain delays, but. Yeah, it's a fascinating prospect, and it will all be on BBC Radio. Ramiz, what have you made of what we've seen here in these first 10 overs? Pakistan, I remind everyone, 91 for 5. We've had 10.4 overs.
I mean, so it's an interesting question that I put to myself, actually, because I was asking Jimmy whether
Jimmy Anderson on the telly. Yeah, BBC Two, the game's live on BBC Two as well, everyone.
Whether Pakistan would be happy with 5 wickets down with a strike rate of almost 10, or whether they should have been happier with a lesser strike rate but with wickets in hand. I don't know how T20 works, but I think for Pakistan it's important that they have wickets in hand. So the start was great, but they needed a Babar or a Rizwan to then get a 60 or a 70. I think that is where the mistake was made or forced on Pakistan by England. I thought they bowled brilliantly after that opening.
It was a tough opening spell to face, and I thought they navigated that quite well. They got themselves to a really good platform, and I guess we saw actually, which there's been a lot of criticism of Babar Azam. Can he open up? He did, didn't he? Through the offside. So you could see the intent was there. I guess that the challenge then becomes you've got a high quality attack coming at you. The spinners come on, and you've got to maintain that kind of pace and that aggression. And sometimes it doesn't quite come off to plan. So I don't think they'll be happy being 5 down. I think they would have liked at least 1 or 2 more in the tank, and that would have given them that freedom at the end.
Well, I know sort of no Pakistan players obviously involved in the IPL, but this is sort of where the impact sub would have come into play, wouldn't it? When you get sort of 5-6 down, you can still throw in another batter.
I like that.
Do you? Have you been a fan of it?
Yes, absolutely. I think makes the game more interesting and not one-sided. And it allows you a second chance if you picked a playing 11 that sort of didn't go well according to the situation. I mean, with this overcast conditions, you would probably play one spinner less now.
Does it take, though, a bit of that sort of skill out of having to, curate your best 11 according to the conditions, when you can just say, if it doesn't work out,
the captaincy bit gets a hammering because as a captain, I mean, this is probably one of the very few games that still allows a bit of leadership into the game. And so, I mean, from that point of view, yes, you want to have a captain and a leader who can read the game properly, who can understand the situation and the conditions. But I think with the high-tech sort of technology at play, with high-tech support staff and with numbers and stats and all that kind of stuff, I think it's a modern day of playing T20 cricket, and I don't mind it.
I felt sorry for the bowlers, though,
yes.
because there was a lot of runs and a lot of sixes. And I guess you ask, I mean, tonight it's felt that those sixes were actually quite special.
Yes,
really hit well out of the screws.
It was interesting hearing Joss Butler say in the interview in the first game that he felt that we all needed to temper our expectation a little bit, because I think the question I asked to him was, should they have gone on in the first or in the game at Edgbaston to get 220 when they ended just short of 200? And he was like, well, in some ways yes, but he said we've also been spoiled seeing the impact of the impact sub in IPL, that we also have to remember that the World Cup and bilateral series, that doesn't exist. And so sometimes we're expecting those humongous scores, and actually when you take that out and you've only got the 11 to play with and you've got a balance, it's a lot harder to manage. So maybe he was telling us to just calm down, don't ask for too much too quickly.
Well, you take into account the size of the playing area as well as the size of the boundaries. I mean, Henry was looking at the wind earlier, and again, when you start to think about hitting into the wind or bowling angles, and the flags were going all over the place. It was very difficult to get a sense of who was bowling into the wind and who was hitting with the wind down the ground. Mark Wood is on the boundary with many of the other England team getting ready to come back on, because we are 5 minutes away from a restart here. But goodness, the pace, he was up towards 96 miles per hour in his opening over, so hitting his straps for having not bowled competitively since the Dharamshala Test match. So I mean, as far as this being a bit of a run out for him, he gets 4 overs of pace under his belt and can then just make sure he gets on the plane, stays fit. So that's boding very well for England. And so exciting with Archer at the other end.
In this day and age, to see somebody bowl at 96 miles an hour in T20 cricket is absolutely gold. It's a rare feat, and it's good that he just continues to attack the batsman with sheer pace. So there's pace and more pace and extreme pace, which is great to watch.
The players are coming back out, which is good news. Ramiz, when it comes to the top of the order for Pakistan, we're seeing the change today.
Yeah.
Do you still think that, I mean, is Sain Ayub sort of earmarked for the T20 World Cup, or is this a sign that actually they would rather return to
I mean, this is Pakistan's best chance to put pressure on the opposition through Babar and Rizwan. Because you see, I've played in an era where, for example, West Indies had a great opening pairing in Desmond Haynes and Gordon Greenwich. And it takes ages for an opening pair and a partnership to grow. And Pakistan have been fortunate to have Babar and Rizwan. Yes, you can criticize with the strike rate bit, but I think Pakistan needs stability in the first 6 overs. We've seen Saim Ayub and others tried and tested, and so they look good.
Could I go left field? Would you ever put Fakhar Zaman at the top?
No,
Never.
I think he's technically not that good against sideways movement or extreme pace.
Yeah.
And Pakistan need an experienced hand in the middle order as well. So I mean, this is Pakistan's best chance.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how they go from here, because they're back out in the middle. The floodlights are on, taking a bit more of an effect now. I can see 4 shadows beneath the feet of both the 2 batters and England in the field. So Iftikhar and Usman Khan are the 2 not out batters. It's Usman who is on strike, waiting for Mark Wood to come racing in once more. 91 for 5 Pakistan have reached. Iftikhar's on 5, Usman on 16. Top score so far is Mohammad Rizwan with his 23 from 16. Wood is ready. It's been a bit of a break. What will we get now? Wood is rushing in. And now to Usman, bowling full. He's laid his bat on it, looking to drive, and it's 4. Might have been a touch streaky. It's raced along this green outfield to the boundary. use the pace of the ball.
But this was very much on the cards as well from Mark Wood, because he's rushed the batsman with bouncer. This was the Yorker length and put away through deep point for 4.
Yeah, it's ended up as it arrived on the half volley. It was right up there. Mark Wood feels his hands to his face as he saw it race away. Wood in again, angling the bat, easing it down towards very fine deep third, and Rashid is there to pick up. Deliberately played through for the single. 95 for 5 becomes 96 for 5 off 11 then. Iftikhar 5, Usman on 21. So just one more over left for Mark Wood. Do you think we'll now wait till he'll be coming back at the
Well, I just heard Catherine Sivabrunt to my left mumble as a full-on fast bowler does. He must be cold. Couple of overs off, and she thinks he's sat down for a few minutes. Come on, you guys are athletes. But I think being honest from the game perspective is worth saving him. Come back later. There's plenty of overs left. You've got spinners that can get through a few overs, and then I'd come back with the quicks towards the end. So I'd definitely, if they can, just park that spare over.
Adil Rashid is going to continue. He's been quite a lot of the action, hasn't he? 2 wickets with the ball. He's taken 2 catches. He did drop a catch as well. It was Usman when he was on 11. Usman's now on 21. Rashid in to Usman Khan. Floats one in. Thickish off the outside edge to the ground and to short third. And Rashid is oohing and ahhing.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't play a lot of drives, Usman. More keen to just play the sweep or the cut shot.
Rashid steadies himself again. Usman on 21 settles over his bat. Rashid in, bowls, forward he comes, works this into the onside, brings the man off the boundary, just the one. Pick up is a clean one. 97 for 5 in this 12th over.
2 for 9. That's some real figures, isn't it? He's just so confident giving it air. Often in this modern game, spinners are firing it in. He's got that confidence to flight the ball.
Iftikhar is getting ready to face again. Just one inside the circle on the onside. Rashid in with his leg breaks and he's plucked that off stump. Only as far as short third once again though. Looking a little frustrated here at the moment. Iftikhar
gets his length right when he's bowling the wrong one as well. So it's a pretty special delivery. Pitches it just a wee bit shorter.
Now Rashid making an adjustment in the field. He's asking his cover fielder just to swing round a little squarer. Rashid is in, gives this one a little more air into the mid-wicket region. They'll take one. They think about a second, but sliding stop from Mark Wood means it's just the single. 98 for 5. Now in the 12th over. Is that Liam Livingstone having a bit of a warm-up again, rolling his arm over? It can be a bit of a golden arm sometimes. Rashid up to the stumps, bowls, plenty of outside off and a big heave down the ground for 6. Wow, that was flying off the bat. A real swish of the wrist to work it down the ground. Usman on to 28, 104 for 5.
It's a very good shot because the leggy is bowling splendidly, great figures, and then to beat that man at long off. And his weight was on the back foot, read it perfectly. Big shot.
Yeah, down on one knee. That was full muscle and power. Rashid drops that one a little shorter, works into the onside, setting off quickly for a single. It's vacant inside the circle, so they're able to get the one comfortably. Well, Rashid, 105 for 5 now after 12 overs. So it's just spoiled his figures a little bit, that 6.
Yeah, it had. I was just wondering about Usman. I was thinking about this a little while ago. He's obviously turned down the opportunity with the UAE, banned there for 5 years. But also, his only option really is Pakistan here, because if he can't play in the domestic leagues financially, that might rule out the T20, Abu Dhabi T10. We know there might not be opportunity in the IPL because there isn't that opportunity to play. So he really has to perform. And, this is his real window. Yeah,
and as we all know, desperation at times can make you a better player. You want it that much more, and I think the start in this innings has been very, very impressive.
Liam Livingstone in, and he's gone for a sweep and he's missed. It's ricocheted off the body, running away towards the boundary, and Mark Wood has chased back. Scampered one wide. squeezing down that leg side. He was attempting the sweep. Livingston's got a bit of a wry smile on his face. 107 for 5. That was a leg break, just really dragged down short. Livingston in again, same results. This time they're ricocheting also off the body of Butler into the stumps. No wide signalled. Livingston ball in hand once again. It's just the second over that he's bowled. Trots up to the stumps, no much of a run up, and this is chipped down the ground aerially. And well, Rhys Jordan didn't really move in off the boundary. Allowed the ball to bounce in front of him. There was one earlier where Adil Rashid just didn't seem to move quick enough forwards. It was chipped almost like a golf shot. Livingston in again, working it into the onside. Just a little cramped for room as he played that, but they're coming back for a second now. It's Jordan who moves in again to pick up. Throw comes into the keeper's end and they're back for the second. 110 for 5. 13th over of Pakistan's innings. They were 59 for none. They then lost a couple of quick wickets and then they were 83 for 2 before being 86 for 5. So this is a good stand between these two. 31 for Usman so far off just 16 balls. Livingston moves in a little fuller this time and it's a low sweeping attempt out to deep square. A single, and Archer is there, picks up, sends the ball back into the bowler's end. Doesn't always look the most elegant with his shots.
Yeah, he bends very low when he's sweeping the ball. It's almost a half pull, half sweep at times.
Oh, Dan Norcross would have a name for that.
Yeah, he would
Drapple. That would be a sort of a swull. It was right on the toes of Iftikhar. He's managed to chip it out along the ground. Livingston is after himself, sliding in the pickup and not able to pick himself up in one movement. He's ended up on his knees and batters safely through. 113 for 5. He's got one more ball to come in this over.
Good energy running, these two. I mean, you can't quite get the ball to the ropes or get the one you're looking for. If you can just sneak in, there's a big gap in that mid-wicket region and they've exploited it twice, got up and down.
High cloud above, those dangerous rain clouds. I feel like they've moved away, which is great news. Even some lighter sky in the distance. But the floodlights on and Livingston in. Dab to short third. A tumbling stop on the edge of the circle by Rashid. They're through for 1. So 13 overs gone in the Pakistan innings. 1-1-4 for 5. Iftikhar on 10. Usman now with the top score in this Pakistan lineup. 32 from 17. So batting with good tempo.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I want him to succeed, actually. It's a great story. And he's been, I believe, banned to play in the UAE for 5 years as a result of that sudden pull-out from the team. But you can see the desperation. You can see there's a little bit of talent, especially against spin. I'm not too sure whether his batting can cope extreme pace or short pitch bowling. And Pakistan have got an issue because Azam Khan has an issue with the short ball as well. He's not as nimble-footed at the crease as he should be. Very good against spin, but not so great against pace. And Usman also a bit iffy against pace also, that shorter length.
Guess it's how quickly you adapt, isn't it? That's the one thing I think for international cricketers, there's very little time to work on your game because tournaments come thick and fast, franchise cricket. And I suppose that's going to be the challenge. Can he learn whilst playing at this level?
He's 29 years old.
Yes,
so
and temperamentally he looks good. I mean, not easy. I mean, when wickets have gone down to produce a 32 off 17.
Jordan is back. His only over went for 10 runs. 114 for 5. It's the 14th over, drilled through extra cover. Moeen is there on the edge of the circle, slides to stop. They take 1. And Moeen then gets to his feet to pick up the ball. So 115 becomes 116. I mean, he's not the first player, is he, to move from an associate to a full member country. It's been, happening since, think of Owen Morgan back in the day. Played in the 2007 World Cup for Ireland. Chris Jordan turns at the end of his mark. Sets off a little bow of the head before he gets into his rhythm and his delivery stride outside the off stump. Chops away for 4. Beating a diving short third. Enough width. 119 for 5
Yeah,
now.
it's good batting actually. He played the field, knew exactly where that fielder was in the circle. And a smart bit of batting because he stayed inside the line of the ball. He'll keep on playing such shots those little shots, not really whack the ball hard, but try to find the placement and run hard. And so far, so good.
Yep. Usman on to 36, 119 for 5.
Long conference here.
This is
long conference with
Moeen Ali
and
Harry Brook.
Harry Brooks chipping in.
This is where Butler as captain is a long way from the, if you like, the decision making in the field. He's moving his arms and shifting a few field placements, but Moeen feels very much as he's the intel man. Jordan in again, back of the length, and just pulled into the ground through the vacant mid-wicket region. Man in the deep comes forward, just the one. Didn't really get hold of it. Single taken.
That's one thing we know about the World Cup, is there was the danger of, Jos Buttler was saying he'd be going home for the birth of his child, and so that could have been a bit of handing over the reins to Moeen Ali. Well, it looks like that's taken place, or
do we know?
I think there's an understanding that he was going to miss the last game. So if that is the case, then it looks like
Butler's there for the duration.
Yeah, which just gives a bit of stability,
really.
A bit
of certainty. In goes Jordan, racing in outside the off stump, and got it past. Short third again for 4 more. Jordan's got his hands on his hips, but it's deft batting from Iftikhar this time. 15 off 10 he is, 124 for 5.
Yeah, he's got his hands on his hips, but to be fair, it was a little bit too wide, and because it was a slower ball, we had time to see it and adjust, and so just worked with what was available. Just got almost close to that wide line, and so it allowed him to pick his angle. It's really nicely played here. Frustrating for Jordan.
Yeah, running his fingers down the side of the ball to take that pace off. More conversations here. Jordan is in one conversation with Butler, who has jogged all the way down from his keeping position, and Moeen, who's kept hold of the ball, tosses it back to Jordan. Actually, that's a very Owen Morgan thing to do. It's to hold on to the ball at the very last possible moment. That's normally his tactic, he said, during their successful World Cup campaign, when he wanted to slow things down. And at the moment, England are just not quite sure of what their best plan is right now, but they are moving a fielder from short fine leg to plug this gap, this positioning at short third. So
what's this fascination about the short fine?
So Jordan in again now, and it's in that same region, but hammered squarer this time. Deep points, moves across, picks up, and just the one. 125 for 5. Well, if Pakistan keep going at the rate they are, which is about 9 and over, they'll get up to the 181 mark.
Good game. Good game, yes.
If England can pull it back a bit and keep them to 8 and over, well, they'll only get sort of 174, 75. So it could be a tight finish yet. Very little is known until we're seeing the start of England's run chase. Usman on 37 from 19. England want to remove him. Again outside the off stump, hammered out towards deep cover. Protection on the boundary. And Phil Salt sends the ball back into the middle. Just the one. So 14 overs gone. And Pakistan are 126 for 5. Iftikhar on 16. And Usman on 38. So thank you to Ramiz Raja and Ebony Wayne from Brent for the moment. Catherine Sciver-Brunt will come back in alongside me in just a moment. But yeah, that run rate exactly 9 per over for the moment. And Usman is looking like the danger man for Pakistan. If he can stay in through the end of this innings and then really start to open shoulders, well, a huge opportunity for him. Remember, he was dropped on 11 by Adil Rashid. A chance missed. Catherine Sciver-Brunt, what have you made of the last few minutes?
No, it's just been ticking along sort of cricket, isn't it? It looks like some of the bowlers are practicing their potential plans going into the Windies. So obviously the wide plan by Chris Jordan, they're very, very telegraphed, but actually executed quite well.
Livingston continuing here, use of the feet, hammered down the ground. There's a fielder coming in off the boundary. Brilliantly taken by Chris Jordan.
Would you expect any less from him?
He had ground to cover and then he dived forward.
He's a freak.
Took it inches off the ground, and that is the removal of Usman Khan that England needed. He's gone for 38, 126 for 6.
He's an absolute athlete, isn't he? He must be the best fielder in the world. I mean, he can literally do it all. He's rapid, catch either hand, full length diving. He never, ever backs out of a catch in any way. He backs himself. He plays with such confidence in the field. He must love it. He does it like he loves it. But that was great.
There was one a few moments ago where he didn't seem to quite move as quickly as you might have expected.
Probably thinking about his wide field.
Let it bounce comfortably in front of him. That time he was going full pelts, full committal.
Yeah, that is one of the trickiest things I've found in my career is in the outfield is the debate you go through in your head whether to go for it or not, because you're thinking, do I want to lose a couple of teeth on this one, or do I just want to fully commit, get a bit sore, but potentially pick up a worldie of a catch? And it is extremely, it's all sort of mental. Fielding is quite mental. If you're confident and you attack the ball, it actually hurts less, and you'll be surprised at just what you can do.
Well, I would
when
go
you
to
stretch yourself. Yeah,
I'd go to the BBC Sport website and app and have a look back at that one on the digital clips, because that was a excellent catch in the deep.
The trajectory was, it was so flat
and hit hard.
It was hit hard and flat, and I've found in stadiums like this where they're big and engulfing, where they come up and round it, the ball can get lost in the crowd.
Well, Livingston has a wicket. He's bowling again now. Shahin-Shah Afridi is the new batter, and from the crease strokes it out into the offside. So got a left-hander, tall man, the fast bowler. 3 inside the ring on the offside, 1 on the on in a catching position at short mid-wicket. Livingston in, he's gone for a big heave and he's bowled. He got down on one knee. Livingston's got a huge smile, a grin on his face.
Yeah.
He's picked up 2 wickets in the over.
He's laughing as much as me because he knew that was a pie. And luckily he had Shaheen on the other side of that and not Pakistan or somebody, because that would have been in the second tier of something.
Well, he doesn't care how they come.
No, he does not
He's
care.
got one. But it was dropped short, and Shahin-Shah Afridi down on one knee on almighty heave.
I mean, it wasn't a terrible ball, but he knows to a quality batter that's danger. So yeah, they're all having a little good laugh about that. But he is a bit of a golden arm, Liam, isn't he? He's my golden arm for sure. I feel like they use him as a way to entice the batters into a little wicket.
Well, it can be an ego thing, can't it, when you bring on that part-time spinner? I mean, he's got a sort of bag of tricks though, hasn't he? Because he can bowl the leg breaks or the offies. And
Joz knows that in world cricket, when the lads see him come on, they fancy a bit. It's like watching Glenn Maxwell bowl his off spinners. He's a good bowler, but nobody.
And yet batters will think here's a chance.
They come in there like, oh, it's only a part timer. He can't bowl 5 in a row, but he can. He absolutely can. So it's one of them, isn't it? It's a bit of a cat and mouse situation. Can bowl some pies, but can bowl. Well, he's got a good quicker ball. Got leggy, offy, and just ultimately you just want to smash him into next week. So that always helps in T20 cricket.
Here's Naseem Shah, who's come out, 21 years of age. Remember Naseem making a memorable. Yeah, I remember his Test debut when he first played for Pakistan. It was a very emotional time for him as well. Liam Livingstone is in and chipped towards extra cover, a tumbling stop by Bairstow. It was just after his mother had died when he came to play in Australia, made his debut for Pakistan a couple of years ago. Forward he comes, Livingstone drops to the ground, fields off his own bowling. One more ball to come in this double wicket taking over for Liam Livingstone.
There was a bit of a leggy, wasn't it, that one? Mixing it up.
Naseem waits, Livingstone in, a bit of air, back up to the bowler.
Crowd catch.
Yeah, they got a bit excited. He parried it away.
Yeah, just hit it into the ground, didn't he?
He's bowled 3 overs. He's taken 2 for 17. Doesn't matter how they come. 126 for 7. So there was a bit of a recovery, and Pakistan seemed to be in the ascendancy with Usman Khan at the crease. But again, another couple of wickets changes the complexion a bit more, and England now have a chance to press for these last 3. Catherine Sciver-Brunt, a bit more from you, and then it'll be Henry Moran.
Yeah, so Naseem Shah, pace sensation, suffered with injuries after bursting onto the test scene in 2019. As a youngster, doctors said they found 4 fractures in his back, and his chances of playing cricket at the highest level were almost 0.
4 fractures.
And he's a baby, he's 21, that is horrific. But look at him now.
That would hurt. I know that sounds
Just
really...
a little bit.
Yeah, so why is he bowling?
Because he absolutely loves it. And so he should. He's defying the odds.
Well,
and he's enjoying his life.
Well, indeed. And here's somebody else that is happily over injury concerns as Jofra Archer comes back into the attack. 1-2-6 for 7. This is outside the off stump. Goodness me, that was quick. Good luck. Iftikhar swings at it. It says it's 88 miles an hour. It felt like all of that.
Yeah, maybe 94. Iftikhar's just literally looked at his mate down the other end, shook his. I didn't see that, mate.
Do you fancy a go?
I think it was about there. I had a good waft. It was one of those where after the batter it's moved as well.
Yeah, it's one of those, if it was football parlance, you'd say the goalkeeper didn't even move. Do you know what I mean? It was just too quick. In comes Jofra Archer once again. And again, quick, this time onto the pads, and the single will be scrambled. They'll turn for a second, and Iftikhar says, actually, do you know what? You stay up there.
I'm happy with my push and run.
Yeah, I think that'll do me nicely. 127 for 7. Pakistan were 59 without loss with the ball left of the power play. And since then, England have been really impressive with the ball, I think, and fought back.
What we're saying on this ball, pace bowler v pace bowler, is it going to be a big whoosh?
I think he's going to double bluff, bowl it full straight and slow.
Yeah, slow.
In comes Archer. No, pace on off stump, push towards deep point for a single.
I love that. Pace on right, but he went back to a fuller ball.
I know.
Because it's just like, I just need to be back. There's no forward happening here.
And I can't say I blame him. And
neither.
As a fast bowler yourself, you look at Jofra Archer and think, well, how's he getting that pace? Because it looks so easy.
Yeah, well, it's all in his action. He's got such an efficient action. And he does make it look easy, doesn't he?
Here comes Archer once again, sprinting away from us. It's a full delivery with the pace taken off, hacked down the ground, and it really was a hack from Iftikhar. The ball goes towards long on, where Harry Brook is waiting. 1-2-9 for 7. 2 balls left of the 16th.
He is so efficient. Like his alignment is great. The way he just moves smoothly from where he starts to through the crease. He's got a braced front knee. He's got that the little bit of drag on the back leg. And he's got a little bit of hyperextension in the elbow that just delays, and then it allows him to just whip that ball straight through.
And it was that hyperextension that caused the problems.
And often it is the one thing that makes you stand out is the one thing that can. Nat had it actually when she first burst onto the scene. She actually was a lot quicker than what she is now.
In comes Archer, and get off me, says Naseem as he drops it into the offside. Throw comes in from square on. It's a good throw as well from Adil Rashid. Not far from the stumps. They do get a single, so 1-2-9 for 7 becomes 130 for 7. A reminder, live TV coverage of this match, and you can watch it again at your leisure on the BBC iPlayer. And also this evening, T20 Blast is getting underway. Don't forget every ball of every game available to listen to across the county season on the BBC Sport website and app. So
I'm missing the Vikings right now.
Oh, do you want me to give you a score update?
Yeah, go on.
Here we go.
Go on.
Let's have a little look.
Really looking forward to watching that.
Well, I'm sorry.
Joking.
Yeah. Nice to see you too. Here comes Archer dropping it in short, and Joss Butler parries it, and it's signalled as wide. Iftikhar will run down to the other end. 90 miles an hour, that one. And,
that was hideous for everybody.
No one enjoyed it.
Joss literally just stuck his hand up and just thought, please don't hit my hand, but it did hit his hand. It was rapid, and it just kept rising for everybody. Let's have another look at it.
Oh, it was quick.
Sort of out the side a little bit. I don't know if he meant to roll his fingers down on that one, but it didn't seem to take any pace off. And did he get away with the wide there?
No, signalled wide.
Signalled wide.
Here comes Archer again. Naseem's on strike. Plays that pretty well. Behind square on the offside for a single, and the score moves forward to 133 for 7. So 16 overs gone. Archer's bowled 3 overs, 1 for 24. He looks a little disgruntled as he takes his cap and jumper from umpire Saggers. You were wondering how Yorkshire Vikings are getting on. Well, they're doing very well. They need 61 runs to win, with all 10 wickets remaining, having bowled Worcestershire out for 101.
Delightful.
There you go. So 41 without loss after just 3.5 overs. In terms of the wicket takers, just to wrap things up, 4 wickets
tidy
for Moriarty onto these parts, 2 for Bess, and 2 for
good cricketer, isn't he?
Well,
Dom Bess.
Yeah, does it all.
Does, and they're gold. Worth holding on to those.
Here comes Adil Rashid then, looking for a 3rd wicket, and right onto the pads of Naseem Shah, who will get a single into the onside. Archer moves to his right at mid wicket. The floodlights are beaming down brightly onto what is the most lush green colour, this outfield, because it's been
lovely.
So much rain over the last few weeks.
Carpet.
This
is an actual carpet.
I wouldn't want a carpet that colour.
If you liked green, this is beautiful.
It would be marvellous. In comes Adil Rashid, and whipping the ball away into the onside is Iftikhar. He's found a bit of space, but not quite enough to get another run because Phil Salt's too quick.
He is rapid. I feel like something's happening here.
Do you think?
I feel twitchy.
You think?
If I feel twitchy, they feel twitchy.
You sense a big wind-up might be coming. Well, Nazim's 4 from 7. He waits for Rashid, and he does wind up. He gets an inside edge, and there's no run.
That was coming back to Yorkshire, that one. Yeah, actually.
Blimey.
I would like to know what happened. It felt like a snooker cue situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hits the end of the toe of the bat. Unsure. Rash liked it. I wonder what he's going to bowl this ball. Because he is not going to not replicate that shot, probably. Feels like it's happening again.
Rashid bowls a quick ball, which is played actually quite competently out towards Salt, towards deep mid-wicket. And he came down to meet it about halfway down the track. It's 136 for 7.
I think Rash had half an idea what was happening there.
Yeah.
Generally, when you can't hit it from a sweep slog, you have a little charge.
Yeah, he might have felt tempted to toss it out wide, see if he could get a little stumping. In comes Rashid, forward, and just nudging into the onside is Iftikhar, who moves to 20. 1 ball left of Adil Rashid's excellent spell, which currently has figures of 2 for 20. In fact, 2 balls left.
I think Jaws might be passing on a little bit of intel to Rash there about your plan. He might have been listening in.
Do you think?
Yeah, he said fancy you bowling this one a bit wider, Rash, out of the arc, but also out of the arc for the rundown. Also, I mean, it works for both, doesn't it?
Oh, he's been hit a mile in the air. Has it got the legs for 6?
Yes.
You bet it does. That's a massive blow down the ground.
It went very, very high, but only the first throw. But very, very high. Had it been as long as it was high, it would have been out of the actual stadium. But that was a nice little strike out the middle.
Was it ever? 17 overs gone, 143 for 7. Well, we were wondering if he was going to toss it out wide. I'm not sure that was part of the plan.
The message was a bit of air, and he hasn't he's connected well, right? But he's not necessarily got us 2 or 3 meters over.
And
it was a brave ball, but maybe you underestimate him slightly.
Well, they're having a little drink out there. Change of gloves for Iftikhar, who's having a big glug of water as well. And so far this innings has sort of fits and starts. Really impressive to kick things off with Rizwan and Baba back together at the top of the order. But as Atif Nawaz joins us again, Atif, it feels like you're dancing. Explain.
Oh, it's tunes. There's playing some great tunes here in the Oval today. We've also got some guests in our commentary box who are enjoying the action. So I had to give them a little wave, getting a vantage point of where all the magic happens, so to speak. But I've really enjoyed that 6 from Naseem Shah. It had shades of the Asia Cup 2022 when he rescued Pakistan from a certain defeat against Afghanistan, hit some ferocious 6s right at the bottom of that innings to get Pakistan a 1-wicket win. And he's very sort of classical sort of bottom hand batter. So you'll see a lot of, as Catherine was saying, high 6s. Not necessarily long 6s, but certainly high 6s. They make a beautiful arc, a bit like the Wembley Stadium one north of the river.
Jordan's come back on. He might be about to break the toe of some bats. My favourite time. He does it so well.
Yeah, it's all about those full deliveries from Chris Jordan. Yorker length, he's coming in now and bowls actually on a length. It's hacked down the ground by Iftikhar. He's not really timed it, and a single will be taken. 144 for 7 under gloomy South London skies. It doesn't feel like a summer's evening, this. Atif.
Well, it's May still, so I mean, I know for all of our sort of belly aching about the rain and stuff, which obviously is immensely frustrating for fans, broadcasters, players, everybody who turns up and it rains and you don't get anything in. It is May. Is it unreasonable for this much rain in May? Because I feel like it happens. I mean, I lived here my whole life in London. I feel like it's a very common phenomenon, if I'm honest.
Well, the problem is having such a long winter.
In comes Chris Jordan. That is a fuller delivery, dug out by Naseem, back down the track, and that's well bowled by Jordan.
And it's so like you go through that 6 months and you're like, I don't want to suffer anymore. I want some sunshine now. Like I'm very pale, I'm very depressed. I've got this light issue going on where I need the light now.
Vitamin D, yeah.
Yeah, and no, I'm not being funny. We have our bloods taken when we play for England regularly, and vitamin D was always an issue for me, myself and a couple of others. But yeah, like it sucks to be English sometimes, just because you get to travel the world and see how great it is.
Here comes Chris Jordan. That's a quick ball that goes right through Nazim, who was trying to swing it away, and 85 miles an hour, just to remind those...
we do forget that's quick still.
I know, that's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Well, he took the pace off the previous one, which was sort of missed time down the ground. That was 73. This one was 84, and it is very quick. It travels right through. Great carry through to Joss as well. Just on vitamin D, my GP once told me he reckons about 90% of the British population has a deficiency in vitamin D. So don't feel bad.
Yeah,
but do consult your own GPs, by the way. That's just my...
Mine was significantly.
What on earth have I wandered into? Here
A medical.
Here comes Chris Jordan over the wicket, charging in outside the off stump,
Whoa.
and that's well bowled as well against lower order batters.
I felt the draft from here off that one, did you?
A swing and a miss.
That was a right waft.
He's too quick,
Yeah.
I think, for Nazim here, and there is a little look around from the Pakistan number 9.
Did just get away with that, didn't he?
Was
That was
too
not
wide?
far off the wide. Oh, I would have given that. Oh, did he move across?
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, look at his not he's giving it away.
Yeah.
He did not help himself there.
Something about a Broadway musical, that final step, wasn't it?
Looked like Steve Smith.
Here comes Chris Jordan again, kicking up the heels, running away from us. He's in past the umpires,
Oi.
held into the leg side or dropped short of Joss Butler, who took one glove off as he sprinted forward. That was 87 miles an hour.
Ouch.
So, you've got Mark Wood bowling at 95, Archer at 92, Chris Jordan at 87. It's quite the...
Poor Chris,
collection.
his ego's probably he's thinking, I thought I was bowling rapid 5 minutes ago, and now I'm surrounded by 90-mile-an-hour bowlers plus. Like,
Well, he took
what-
He's still, I mean,
We
which
do
is
forget-
still quick, yeah, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's rapid. 87's rapid. I'm not being funny, but any county cricketer will still say they won't fancy that.
No, and I mean, you can see the way he's dominating Naseem and really Iftikhar as well. They're finding it very hard to time him, get him away, and his changes of pace are what make it. I mean, when you're bowling late 80s constantly, and then you just cut your fingers across one 81, 82 miles an hour, even the late 70s, makes a big difference.
Pace off this ball.
Must be.
Here comes Jordan. He's been hit in the air. This could be his wicket. It's gone very high. Underneath it is Harry Brook, and it's easy. Long on, and Chris Jordan has a little point towards Moeen Ali. No doubt there was a message given. How about take the pace off that one? You're going to get yourself a wicket, and he's done just that. Iftikhar goes for 21, and Pakistan subsiding here. They're 145 for 8, 2 overs left. Jordan has got 1 for 24 off 3.
You've absolutely got to go to that slow ball, haven't you? Against the lower order, it's always seemed to be the crux in the armoury for many lower order back. They like the pace coming on. So that was a really lovely change up there, and I'm so glad to see that there's communication going on, because sometimes you just can't see the wood for the trees when you're in the sort of heat of it. So it's good to know they can do that throughout, and that's he deserved that. He's been bowling well tonight.
So it's also interesting that England are entirely comfortable with a leadership group. They knew that Moeen was going to step in and captain the side in Joss Butler's absence for the birth of his and Louise's third child, and Moeen is clearly seen as somebody that Butler can turn to as a leadership voice, even when he is on the field.
Correct, and it's that respect, isn't it? He's been around a long time, he knows a lot, he's played with a lot of T20 teams all over the world, and he's a great human. Sometimes it just takes one to be a really good bloke for your players to feel comfortable around you. You don't really need to know everything, because you expect your players to know what they're doing with their own skill.
But it's always the thing when coaches talk about what they're actually doing when they're coaching an international team, because you're not teaching people necessarily that much, because they're playing international sport.
You're just trying to get every last ounce of ability out of them and make them feel as great as possible.
Here comes Mark Wood then. He's taken 1 for 30 from 3 overs, and he's sprinting in towards us. That's just ludicrously fast, and Nazim takes a step. By one step I mean probably 3 or 4 towards the leg side, swings at it, misses, and that went through at 91 miles an hour. 145 for 8.
I think Amir will be slightly better suited today. He's probably seen a lot more of that kind of pace. Again, it's not so much the pace. They've all played that kind of pace, but playing it with the level of bounce, as there's just This sunlight here at the Oval, sorry, just threw me a little bit. There's a couple of stands here bathed
Is that
in sunlight.
real?
Yeah, I know. Is this some kind of, maybe they're shooting a sci-fi movie around the corner. Fake sun.
Mark Wood wheels round at the far end of the ground, runs in towards us, and he chases the batter that tried to swat it away and got nothing on it. And just to go through what we've seen in the last, since that 6 at the end of the Rashid over, we've seen 2 runs and a wicket from Jordan's 18th over. First 2 of this over have seen dot balls, so England showing they can wrap up an innings as well at the death.
Yeah, and they're not looking the most elegant right now, Pakistan's tail. Like, it is a tough job for your premium fast bowlers, obviously, but it never looks nice when you have to sort of duck and weave and sort of evade the ball more than trying to hit it. It's tough going for the Pakistani batters.
Naseem's on 12. Here comes Wood, and this is chipped in the air over the fielder at mid-off and for 4. That's quite well played. It was a step into the leg side, but he's managed to dig it out, chip it away, and gets a boundary. 149 for 8.
Yeah, it's a good shot, really. It was a bit of safety in that shot as well. You knew he just had that one fielder to clear. As long as he could get it over him, it was going to be runs, and inching Pakistan closer to that 150 mark, which is sort of some semblance of respectability. You'd still back England to get 150, you'd back them to get 180, really, but Pakistan have got to put something on the table for their fast bowlers to try and defend, and it's the fast bowlers who are having to put it on at the moment.
Well, here comes Mark Wood once more, running into bowl to Naseem, and this is hit him somewhere. Is it going to be out? I fancy it might be. Yeah, and Mark Wood celebrates. It's another hostile, horrible ball, and it's 149 for 9.
Exactly the sentence that came to mind. Horrible. That was horrible. That was angled in towards him, so it was like, if you want to evade, it's probably not going to happen because it's just going to follow you the whole time. He smashed that into the wicket straight at him. All he could do was turn his back and sort of want to get out of the way.
It's just demonstrating that killer instinct here from England, and you know, Mark Wood is so good at this, like running through tails, like really putting them in their place and just showing them like what he can do with the ball. He's not the kind of tail end bowler who concedes a lot of runs from tails, even when they're sort of swinging, because as you say, it's that hostile length. It's something nobody wants to face, really, because it's quick and angled into you and bouncing, and it's tough stuff for a top order batter, never mind a tail end batter.
Well, he's already done half the damage, hasn't he, before he's even run into bowl. He's in their head.
Well, it would be.
Yeah, I mean,
not just in there, it's almost hitting there.
You've almost decided you're going back, so he's sort of won half the battle already.
Yeah. Well, Harris Ralph comes to join the action with Mark Wood having taken 2 for 34. 2 balls left of his spell, 149 for 9, and a quick ball is defended by Ralph, who was eager to get a single that was not going to happen. 149 for 9.
I am sorry.
Go on.
I am keen to watch the Pakistani bowlers now.
Oh yeah.
Like I mean, pace bowling is just Pakistani way, isn't it? Especially left arm fast bowling, and that's. You never want a left-armer bowling, swinging it back into your body.
Well, these two teams, they're fast bowling lineups.
Yeah, Ralph,
so
he's
fun.
rapid. Like, there's, you know, they're going to give it as good as they're getting, that's for sure.
You think possibly England better prepared to play hostile fast bowling than Pakistan?
With the net situation.
Here comes Wood. This has been nicely played, actually. Slapped towards the fielder at mid-off, who does very well indeed. Chris Jordan diving to his right.
Yeah, that was travelling. He's just rinsed his hand out a little bit. That was horrible.
150 for 9 then. 1 over left. Gary Kirsten makes some notes in a book that probably says, what do we do about the fast bowling?
Yeah, it's better.
Hope it's slower.
Well, I mean, it will be. I mean, you'd imagine it'll be a lot slower in the West Indies and in America, but even so, it's something for Pakistan to look at long term. It's difficult. You're probably going to see a lot of Mark Wood in Pakistan potentially later this year in the Test series between these two teams. So it's something they need to prepare for. And he's not the only one furiously scribbling. There's about 3 or 4 people in that Pakistani dugout with notebooks and pens scribbling away. I mean, Azhar Mahmood has closed his already. But Gary Kirsten, he's writing a very long sentence at the moment. He's still going on. Yeah, this has been a below par performance from Pakistan. It started so well. It's worth remembering. 59 for no loss. 1 ball removed from the end of the power play. And it's all gone downhill from there.
In comes Jofra Archer to bowl the final over of the innings. And a big swing and a miss goes through as Harris Ralph tries to smack it away into the leg side, 89 miles an hour. And as you say, it's going to be fun when Pakistan get to bowl as well, because this is a good surface for fast bowling.
I tell you, I'd like to see them bowl better lengths than they did in the previous game. I mean, with Shaheen Afridi, he's so greedy. He likes to bowl, especially when it's swinging and he's going to have overcast conditions, and have that full ball swinging back in, that classic Shaheen dismissal. I want to see him vary his lengths a little bit today.
Archer once again past the umpire, big swing, toe end of the bat, down towards deep third, doesn't matter how they come. And a second run will be taken. Harris Ralph's happy to get the strike, and as the throw comes in, Butler can't divert it onto the stumps. 1-5-2 for 9. So we're going to have a shortened interval. It'll only be 10 minutes long, so we won't have long to wait before Pakistan are heading out there with a fast bowling lineup. Shaheen Shah Afridi, Naseem Shah, Mohammad Amir, Harris Ralph, and it's going to be a really entertaining
It's a pace fest today. I'm loving them all. I'm here for it.
And it's a shootout between them all as well, because at the World Cup they won't all play. You imagine Shaheen will play, but the other three are in a bit of a battle for the next 2 spots. You have Naseem Shah, who was more or less guaranteed up until then, but now there's Mohammad Amir in the mix, and of course between them and Harris Ralph, there's it's an opportunity to make a case today.
Here comes Archer. This has been hit firmly down the ground. That's a good shot.
Bit of a half volley, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a half volley, but it was still a half volley at 90 miles an hour for a number 11. And you've got to say, Harris Ralph's done pretty well there, slapping it back past
He was
the
probably
bowler.
thinking,
1-5-6.
excuse me, Henry, I'm a proper batter.
Well, no, but I remember when
he's he's got into his ready position, and he's behind the ball there. He's took no step back or to the leg side. He's all for that.
It's a good shot. Good timing. Archer looking to wrap the innings up, runs in and drops it short. And is there an edge on that? No, that was hostile.
He's asking for a wide. He's still asking for a wide.
Can't review them in this competition, unfortunately. I mean, I wonder if that'll translate from the IPL to the rest of the world.
They'll either give him a bit of a break because of that, or he's getting a straight up level 1.
The thing is, if they do start introducing reviewing wides in other tournaments, we're just going to find ourselves with a T20 tournament going on at all times everywhere. In comes Archer. This has been spooned in the air. Can anyone get underneath it? No. Drops in between the fielder at deep third, Liam Livingston.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be a run out. Well, they tried to get back for the second, and Livingston's throw was good enough. And so England do wrap the innings up before the 20 overs are done. And Harris Ralph, who's played an enterprising knock, is run out. So England have done a good job there. Jofra Archer finishes with 1 for 30. Doesn't look entirely happy with his performance, but Catherine Sciver-Brunt, I think, again, and we'll focus on the rest of the attack shortly, but so many eyes are on how he's going. What did you make of Archer today?
Yeah, I thought he's improved every time he's been and had the chance to bowl, whether it's been rained off or not, but he's certainly improved. That slower ball now is lethal. I think he's changing paces, and that short ball at the head when he actually gets it head high. Obviously the wickets benefited from that delivery today, but the mixture between that quicker ball at the head, his normal stop ball, and his slower ball, he just looks like he could keep control at all times. It's the balls outside off for me with pace on in the first 6, where there's no cover out. That's been from just as a standout from today. That's been the only thing, and it's such a small thing, but it could mean the difference between taking a wicket in that power play and letting someone go at 10s.
Indeed.
Or
and
not.
Was that power play where Pakistan really had their strongest part of this innings. 59 for 1 was the score as it came to an end. A wicket from the final ball of the first 6 overs. Top scoring for Pakistan in the innings was Usman Khan, who made 38 off 21. Babar Azam made 36. Rizwan 23. There was 21 from Iftikhar and Naseem Shah 16. There were, I'm afraid to say, 3 ducks in the innings. And for the bowling figures, 2 wickets apiece for Rashid, Livingston and Wood, 1 apiece for Archer, Jordan, Ali. The run out there as well. England will need for victory 1-5-8. At
the Oval, Pakistan have been bowled out for 157. with 1 ball remaining of their 20 overs by England. It's been a very comprehensive performance from England, a very impressive one from the fast bowlers Mark Wood and Jofra Archer, really sing, and they're going to be a huge part of England's campaign in the World Cup as well. I've got Ali Mitchell alongside me. Ali, we've discussed a lot of stuff about the World Cup in the last few days, and inevitably it begins in a matter of hours over in the States and in West Indies. We talked about a lot of the teams, some of the lesser known teams, the USA and Canada and what have you, but one of the teams that really caught my eye, and I wonder if it's caught your eye as well, is Uganda, right, who made the finals of the T20 World Cup qualifier. Been very, very impressive and going slightly under the radar, but they can make some waves at the World Cup.
They want to make an impact, Atif. I feel a bit connected to the Uganda team because I travelled out to Uganda about this time last May, and found that a couple of the members of the team were avid listeners to the Stump podcast, and they immediately, when they heard that I was in the country, I was there just under my own steam to do a bit of horse riding as it happened, and I got a message saying, do come to the ground, come and watch us train. We'd love for you to meet us and see what we're up to. So I went to Lugogo Oval in Kampala.
Wow.
The women were training at the time, and a number of the men were there as well. So I met a number of the cricket cranes, as they are known. The crested crane is the national bird of Uganda. And actually on the Stunt podcast this week, we've had Brian Masaba, who's the captain of the team. I mean, they're ranked 22 in the world. Actually, Canada are one place below them. Canada, of course, also in this T20 World Cup coming up. Will they pull up any trees? Will they get a sneak win over Papua New Guinea? Perhaps. Afghanistan, West Indies, New Zealand are the other teams in their group. I think they want to make a mark. They want to play cricket with real joy. That's one of the things Brian said to me in an interview was, we want to bring our culture to this World Cup, and they play with real energy. They've also got, Atif, a 43-year-old in their team who I met when I was down at Lugogo Oval, Frank Nsabuga, who is a tall off spinner. He is just seen as a legend of Uganda cricket. There will be many more stories like this in the T20 World Cup, but yeah, it's a wonderful interview he's given. He's hoping really that the government of Uganda will take more interest in cricket, because they're a country who, if you want to buy a cricket bat, Atif, you've got to travel to Kenya. Yeah. There are no cricket stores in Uganda, so for this team to have qualified and made a World Cup, it's huge for them. I think they're perhaps only the second or third team to make any World Cup in a sport for Uganda.
Wow, that's absolutely extraordinary. I'm still getting over the fact that you went there on a
horse riding.
A horse riding. I didn't know it was a horse riding destination, but there we go. We've learned something.
You got to know people.
I suppose you do. Nobody knows more people than Alison Mitchell. She's outstanding in that way, and in every way actually.
I had Sonia McLaughlin to thank actually for getting me out there to ride horses.
Really?
Yeah, BBC's rugby reporter.
Well, look, the players are just out there, so I'm going to hand over to you to commentate. But just very quickly, I was going to ask you, Kenya, who were the former semi-finalists in I think the 2003 50 over men's World Cup. They were semi-finalists in that competition. Have they been well and truly left behind by Uganda now, would you say?
Well, I mean, Zimbabwe aren't even at this tournament either, are they? So, I mean, in terms of African cricket, Uganda have an opportunity to really say, we are the main players. But, I mean, they're not supported. Infrastructure, Kenya has more of that than Uganda does. There are, I think, if I'm right, I'm saying 3 grounds in Uganda. But Lugogo Oval is, it's not an oval. It's not a Chelmsford. It's not akin to a first-class ground, in the UK, but they want to get that infrastructure and that expertise into their cricket.
You are a fountain of knowledge, Alison Mitchell. I'm going to hand over to you for commentary. Here we go. Pakistan need to defend 157. England need 158. What's going to happen? Stay tuned to find out.
Could be fast and furious, couldn't it? Catherine Sibber-Brunt back alongside me. Shaheen Shah Afridi with ball in his hand. We saw pace, real pace from Mark Wood and Jofra Archer. Wood hitting 96 miles per hour. And there's a slip in place here, and it's Phil Salt facing up to the left arm of Afridi, and he's bowling full right up there in the block hole. He managed to bring the bat down and get off the mark for a single out towards extra cover. Babar Azam is there to pick up. Now, will there be some movement for Shaheen Shah Afridi? Because we saw some swing, didn't we, in the very early stages with England?
That's his ultimate weapon, isn't it? The swing. And from left arm over the wicket, it's not a usual position our batters would find themselves facing up to. So, obviously, that is a strength in itself. But, as always, Shaheen always gets that ball right up there first ball, just almost telling himself, clocking, right, how much is it doing, what have I got to play with, how greedy can I be? As I've just seen, it's not doing loads, but it's doing a little bit, and sometimes that's all you need.
Here is Jos Butler, the captain, faces up. Afridi in, that was cut back, strikes him on the thigh pad, and Butler has to quickly get his bat in, and now there's an overthrow, and they'll take a single. A very keen fielder coming in, and they've attempted shy at the stumps. A leg bye signalled by the umpire. So
Greedy bowling. 84 mile an hour is what we're up to. He doesn't quite bound around at the top of his mark, looking like he wants to rip someone's head off like Mark was at the start of the game, but he just goes about his business. He knows that his swing is his weapon, and how accurate and consistent he is with his lines and lengths. So at the minute he's swinging it in, but we're waiting for that one that nips away.
Salt raises his bat. Afridi in, it's full again right up there. It skews off the inside half of the bat to mid-wicket, shy at the stumps again, and Salt is home though, and the ball was wide of the mark. It was backed up well by Babar Azam this time though. 3 on the board for England. Quick singles, each of them so far.
Good running. I don't think this would have been out. He almost had time to stop. To almost go back for an overthrow if there was one, but we're backing up, so yeah, it's going all right. There's a bit of movement. He is giving them the length to sort of have a little swing at, but yeah, hopefully he'll get his length back on this delivery.
Butler yet to score. This is second ball. Afridi in. Back of a length. He's passed. First slip away to the boundary. It's whistled away for 4. There is a fielder at deep third, but he was too wide. Couldn't cut it off. Butler's on the way.
It's so hard to watch because as a bowler, that's just a lovely ball. And in T20 cricket only this sort of disappointment can happen. He's like I said, I was hoping he would change his length because he was being overly greedy. There's only so many of those you can bowl before one gets smacked. So he decided to run one across Jos instead, but it did take an edge, but unfortunately for them, he got too much of the ball and it just passed the outside of a second slip.
Afridi in again to Butler, leg side this time, clips it off his legs, backward a square for a single, finds deep backward square, sends the ball back into the keeper. 8 on the board. Should just give a nod to Jos Butler, playing in his 116th T20 international tonight, which makes him the most capped England player above Owen Morgan in men's T20 internationals.
One unbelievable T20 batsman, just like white ball batsman. He's
England's 360
just
player.
So good to watch. Entertainment at its best.
For Phil Salt, they've brought deep third up inside the circle now, so 2 back on the deep mid-wicket boundary.
Catching position though, as we've seen in this game, that is.
Will Afridi push one across the right-hander here. He's in, it's down the leg side, it's taken by the keeper, wide as signalled. Afridi had his arm in the air as if to say, oh, was there a tickle on that?
We as seamers, we do like to just appeal to try and get them to not do the, because they might think, oh, did it hit his pad then? Oh, better not give that a wide.
You're very cunning, you lot.
Yeah, well,
you try.
It's one way or the
hard.
other. Well, if you've heard something right, it's either the pad or the bat, isn't it? Or you're cheating, like what I just said.
The strong word, that.
Okay, deceiving. It's probably worse.
Gamesmanship. Afridi running in. The 1 slip, 3 and 4 in the circle on the offside. Able to punch this one just, it's a good sliding stop at mid-on to his right-hand side. Good work, saves runs, it's just 1 in the end.
That was brilliant fielding. Full length dive.
Harris Ralph.
Yes. Number 11 batsman, opening bowler, full length dive. That's exactly what makes a player great. It's all about that. And that will be needed in a world event.
Yeah.
Your body on the line.
10 runs off that opening over then from Shine Shah Afridi. Now to remember, Pakistan's power play was a very good one. They were 59 without loss, 1 ball short of the 6th over, and then they lost at first wicket, Babar Azam.
It didn't feel like a 10-run over. This is this crazy thing about T20 cricket these days. Like back in the day, like 10 and over, you were getting smashed, right? But now it seems to be the standard.
You don't worry about it. It's the standard over, on to the next.
Exactly, but that has almost gone by without me noticing that it's gone for 10.
Well, Naseem Shah, so more pace from the pavilion end of the ground, and 2 slips here now for Phil Salt, who made 13 in his innings at Edgbaston. Jos Butler was the star there with his 84 off 51. Naseem rushes in, right arm over full on the drive is Butler for 4, Salt rather, out through extra cover, finding the gap between cover and mid-off. Glorious shot.
That's a beautiful shot, isn't it? He's used all the pace. It was like I'll get myself into it kind of ball. Not a bad ball, a decent length. He's hit that on the up, and it's just outside up, maybe 4th, 5th stump, maybe a tiny little bit of shape away, but he's just let it come to him, lent on the pace, and he punched it through that vacant extra cover region, and that was lovely.
Phil Salt's part of Kolkata Knight Riders, the eventual IPL champions this season.
Confidence through the roof
for every player. Naseem comes running in again. He's got a fluorescent yellow sweatband on his left wrist. Forward comes Salt. It's angled into the ground, out towards point. Finds the fielder. No run.
That looked nice. That looked as sharp as Joffre. So I'm acting like he's my best mate. Joffre, yeah. That was quick. That was just back of a length. And Phil just lent into that like he wasn't bothered about the sheer pace of it. So it does back up the point about our batter's been used to a bit more raw pace, like how confidently he just lent into that.
Shah Afridi reached 85 miles per hour in his first over. Naseem Shah is in. Is there a edge on that? Keeper's tossed it up, but there wasn't. A play and a miss though by Phil Salt, who's now leaning on his bat handle. Yeah,
and that was 88 miles per hour. So as we saw, Joffre, he was bowling roughly, I'd say, averaged 88. I think his fastest ball was 90, I want to say.
Past the inside edge, that one.
Yes, he's bowling good pace. He's enjoying this wicket, and he's running in, actually. He's really putting in, so yeah, he's getting a little bit out of the surface, just making Phil have a little think.
The quick seemed at their most dangerous in their first couple of overs. Can Pakistan make it count? Naseem in again, leg side chipped in the air. There is a fielder there, but it's comfortably in front of square for 4. Fielder in the deep was back of square. He got it well in front.
The joys of the power play and having as much room to just do what you like. It's almost like if you get the timing and if somebody's bowling close to 90 mile an hour, you don't have to put anything into the shot, and that's just gone over the top. One bounce for
effortless,
and he's not even hit that in anger. He just chipped it, used the pace, one bounce literally for.
So we were having a change in the field. I think that was just perhaps emotion though, for a bit of warming up to be done. Slip stays where he is. 4 inside the ring on the offside here as Naseem is in. He's on the charge and missing. 3 to the keeper it goes. A little ambitious from Phil Salt to charge an 86 mile per hour delivery from Naseem Shah.
But that just shows you the confidence of the guy, doesn't it? Like that, I love to see. It's things you love to see.
And if he had met that with a sort of cross-batted shot, it would have been like a tennis shot down the ground.
He would have been carving that over sort of point forward, a point, potentially 6. Yeah.
Now fielder's dropping back to deep third, maybe because of that shot and potential for a top edge that might fly away.
Correct.
Salt settling over his bat. Naseem
Well, it's
Shah's
not going to be full,
happy.
is it?
He's got short third on the edge of the ring now instead of second slip. Salt holds his bat aloft. Naseem is in. He's gone a little fuller. One bouncing into the hands of cover point. It ends the over from Naseem. That one 88 miles per hour, so he's been working his way up. 18 on the board after the first 2 overs for England, chasing 158 to win.
Yeah, just having a little feel around, aren't they, here? As they can see, it's a nice wicket, and they're only having to lean on some of this bowling as it's flying through the air and just flying off the middle of their bats. That was straight to the fielder, but either side, that was going to the boundary as quick as it came.
This should be a total that England can chase down with, say, comfort, relative comfort.
Ease. Yeah, I would have thought so. Just having a quick look at how they're sort of getting themselves in and how much the ball's doing. It's not doing a lot, is it?
Pakistan's score certainly felt well under par at 157 for 9. They left a lot out there. They lost 3 wickets for just 3 runs at one point in the innings. Butler's on 5. Here is Shah Afridi again. It's on a length and dabbed by Butler, angled out towards points. Fielder is there and there's no run. So from 59 for no wicket. So Pakistan found themselves 86 for 5. It could have been England really turning the screws. Then Usman Khan came out. He was dropped on 11, went on to make 38 from 12.
Not too much damage.
And really the quick bowlers came back to wrap up the tail towards the end.
Yes, they enjoyed that, didn't they, bowling tail end.
Shah Afridi with a healthy crop of hair, bearded, runs in, left arm over. Down the leg side, it's a tumbling take from a rolling Azam Khan, who then underarms the ball back towards the non-striker's end and misses.
Yeah, it's a nice little well-deserved high five then from his teammate. Slip, is it Rizwan?
Thank you for saving that,
in
he
the
says.
green shoes. Yeah, he enjoyed that because he not only did he stop it one-handed and made the effort, he also tried to run out Jaws at the opposite side, the non-striker's end, and he had to he had to get his skates on and run his batting. So it's always good to keep people on the toes.
He's also a well-built lad. He's quite a large unit to right himself and then make that underarm throw.
You wouldn't mess with him, would you?
I would not. Here is Shine Shah Afridi, and again Salt is on 11 from 9, catches all around the edge of the ring on that offside. Afridi in, pushes it across. Salt, who's playing across the line, missing, and through it goes again to Azam Khan.
Yeah, I don't mind this field for him bowling that one where he just wobbles it across the right-hander and tries to encourage sort of an edge, if you like. There's no slip in there, but we've seen it go to the third slip area.
That deep third, short
and actually
third.
we've seen a couple go down at the short third, like you said. So it's not too bad of an idea because that length looks really difficult to play.
Floodlights beaming down on Shine Shah Afridi as he approaches the crease. Bowls on leg stump, knocked behind square in controlled fashion by Salt. It's a single, picked up by Fakhar Zaman down in front of the large electronic sight screen where the numbers are gleaming orange now with the sun really starting to set. It's still these dark clouds hanging over the ground like a fluffy duvet that just won't quite budge at the moment. They're not bringing any rain at the moment. Fingers crossed it stays that way.
Henry called it like being in a Tupperware box, and I was like,
Have you been in a Tupperware box to know what that feels like?
It's a really murky, dirty Tupperware box.
4 shadows beneath his feet as Butler awaits Shine Shah Afridi leading edge, and it's safe down towards deep third. They've just moved that fielder back off the edge of the ring. Would have gone straight there.
We've seen too many go there for him to. He's chopping and changing with it a lot, and it's almost like he's having it up for Phil and back for Jaws, but it just feels kind of similar for both. I mean, our players don't really like to run the ball down. It's not a run the ball down sort of team. It's more of a stand back and slap that through point. But yeah, they've missed out there.
And Salt did try to pull one across the line because there's 2 fielders back on the fence deep mid-wicket if you can bisect them. That's Fuller down the leg side, and Azam Khan tumbles. He can't stop this one. It races away down to the boundary for wides.
Phil Salt gave that 110%. That was going to get lassoed up to the floodlight, I believe. That he gave that full mashings, and almost the amount of he put into the shot put the keeper off, and he sort of saw it last minute, if you like. But it did actually shape away from him, and Shaheen will be extremely annoyed with that. Absolutely no fast bowler on earth likes to go for 5 wides. It's the worst thing ever.
Doesn't feel good for him. It's taken England on to 26 without loss. 1 more ball to come now in this 3rd over. Salt's taking his time, marking his guard.
I think this could be a run across. Yes.
Well, that short third is
and he's
back on
either
the
going to
edge
be
of the
fuming
circle.
that he didn't have a slip on, or it could go towards the 3rd man.
Afridi is in, it's full, it's pushed across him, it's through to the keeper. It was a good length, it was right up there. Afridi with his hands on his head at the end of an over, which has taken England from 18 to 26. So Shine Shah Afridi, 2 overs for 16 so far for him. Salt 12, Butler 6. England, of course, have got Will Jacks to come in next. Bairstow, Brooke, Moeen, Livingston at 7. Jordan, Archer, Rashid, Wood. I mean, it is a powerful, and skillful lineup.
As we know, in the Test matches, even Woody can give the ball a good.
Oh, you look
smack.
at Jordan. He's played match-winning innings.
I mean,
Archer can hit 6s.
I think they believe he's coming in as a genuine batter, aren't they, Jordan? There, and as we know, the last 4 there, they can hit maxis and then hit and bat well. And Jordan and Archer have actually done interviews before where they take a lot of pride in their batting, and they'll spend quite a lot of time practicing and practicing, if you like, proper shots. They're not just
It's serious business, isn't it? Mohammad Amir is into the attack, and that is guided by Butler, eased out in the gap just behind point for 4. 2 fielders were then in pursuit, but he was in full control. 30 for none.
Just guided that so nicely, hasn't he? Used all of the pace and threaded it between those 2 fielders perfectly. Brilliant.
Mohamed Amir made his T20 international debut at the Oval in 2009. So I wonder if he was already 18 then or not. If he was 18 in 2010, wasn't he? The famous or infamous Test match at Lord's. He was young into the side. Huge talent. He's now 32. Left arm. Over he goes. He's batted back down towards mid-on. Sliding stop. Saves a run.
Feels like such a long time ago. Like literally an age ago.
Almost another lifetime, isn't it?
Yeah. And what a talent when he came on the scene with that big flowing, thick, dark hair that he had.
And he can still hit the high pace if everything is in his favour.
And I love the passion about him. He plays with his heart on his sleeve, doesn't he?
In he comes now. Butler is awaiting. It's another leading edge. It's another one to fly safe. Not for 4 this time though. Deep backward point is in place. He's looking to go leg side.
Yeah, it's one of those adventurous field settings, isn't it, where you have that deep backward point where in the women's game you just never see that, but because of the sheer pace and bounce that men deliver, and with him bowling left arm over, it is certainly going in that direction, and it's whether they risk it going for 4 or coming in and potentially getting that wicket.
3 more balls here from Mohamed Amir. Packed crowd in at the Oval. They've loved every minute of this match so far. Amir rushes in, and this has gone high over the leg side. Is it going to be 6? Yes, it is. Over the rope it goes and into the advertising hoardings. And the fire shoots up into the air, and this time it's England fans that are up on their feet waving their placards.
Yeah, the weather's dropped a bit, so those fire bombs going up in the air would be
glad of those,
yeah. He just didn't even play much power into that shot. He just sort of like lifted it off and into that vacant region, which in the power play we know is one of the safest shots you can play.
He's been wanting to go leg side for a while, hasn't he, particularly to Afridi. Now how will Amir respond? It's that through the offside for 4 this time. On the drive, Salt. And well, the runs are coming suddenly for England in this over. 15 runs from it, and Mohamed Amir is kicking at the turf as he walks back to his mark. England 41 without loss, with 1 more ball to come in the over.
Yeah, he's fuming, isn't he? Like any fast bowler, don't like going for boundaries, but that is the makeup of a power play. It's dots and boundaries, especially on a rapid outfield like this.
Yeah, his only protections, deep backward point and deep backward square at the moment. And on the inner ring, the field is spread. 4 on the offside, 3 on the on. Amir rushes in. Last ball of the over. It's taken a bit of pace off, has he? Seems as if Salt waited for it, drops it into the offside, takes a quick single. Very productive over then for England. 16 runs coming from it. And after 4 overs in pursuit of 158, it's a very good start for England. 42 without loss.
Yeah.
So on to 23 off 15 after that over.
Yeah. 20 off 15 and Butler 11 off 9, just happy to sit at the other end and enjoy watching Phil smack it to all parts of the oval ground.
Yeah, doing a good job so far.
I think we're looking at the score, I believe it's fairly similar, or we're ahead.
England are ahead at this stage. 4 overs, England were 33. Sorry, Pakistan were 33, England are 42.
It felt like they were going at 10s for a bit longer than that, but my mistake. Yeah, so we're in a very good position.
Be deceptive.
Indeed.
A change of ends for Naseem Shah then. He's swung around to bowl from the Vauxhall end of the ground to Phil Salt.
Change of end for him.
Yeah. So right arm over. Lofted high, leg side, there's nobody out there. Has it got enough on it for 6? It has, into the advertising hoardings on the full. High again, the timing of the shots, lofted comfortably by Salt.
Yeah, he's changed ends, and sometimes you can do that if you're not fancying, but he did bowl well from that other end, so it surprised me that that's happened. But he went for the slower ball, off cutter straight away, which is very brave. I think Jofra did that on one of his comeback overs. He bowled a slower ball first ball, and it worked. It was a very lovely ball, no damage off it, but that over pitched, and he's just swung through it and helped that on its way, and there was absolutely no one out there, so he could have got that all kinds of wrong and would still been fine.
I've put somebody out there now. It feels like sort of chasing the game a little bit here.
Cow corner now.
48 for none. Naseem bowls to Salt. Oh, and he's swiveled this one. He's got it away, not in the same way as before. It's going to plug in the turf. It was high rather than long. And it just climbed on him a bit more than he thought.
Well, it was back from 68 miles per hour back to 88, so I think it was just rushed him a slight bit. But from our angle up here, it certainly looked like he'd got hold of it, and it was travelling and going for 6 maybe, but
then you realise it's gone up, and it didn't even get beyond the 30-yard circle mark.
No.
Fell safe though for him. 49 without loss, England closing in on this 50 marker. Butler, a little waggle of that left shoulder, goes for the ramp and plays it to perfection. Backward of square it goes, and it is for 4. There's a diving effort from Fakhar Zaman, but he was way behind the pace of the ball, and it brings out the England 50 in some style. Butler on to 15 and England 53 for none, well on their way to this target of 158.
There's a wry smile from Nazim there, because I mean he understands that Joz is a freak, and he plays these so well, and it's a nice ball that actually, line length and a little bit of a waist swing, but he did see him go and sort of went a little bit wider, but the hands of Jaws and the ability just meant that he could hit it in a different place.
Stepped across perfectly, didn't he? Nazim in again on the charge this time. Butler, he's gone high, he's gone long, he's gone leg side for 6. The crowd grab it. What a strike that was, and
Monster
full of
blow.
intent, advancing on the fast bowler Naseem Shah. Now the crowd are up.
Monster blow.
Pace-off is not working for Pakistan.
I feel so sorry for him. He's gone 6-1, 4-6 this over, and he's still got 2 balls to bowl. He bowled a slow ball, but Jaws, that was a lovely, clean connection. He's put a lot of power into that as well, because obviously there was pace taken off.
Crowd are up and about. Butler again here, waits for one, sides it away through the offside, 4 more. An absolute assault from Butler. 2 6s, 2 4s in the over, the single as well.
Yeah, the fielders just stood there, didn't they? They didn't quite know. That ball could have easily gone to hand, but when you're on, you're on, and Point and cover just sort of stood there and looked at each other, and it had gone between them as fast as you like.
Tell you what, England, if they carry on in this vein, I mean, this could be one of their most emphatic T20 victories.
And we might even see a baby celebration if there's 100 on the cards. A little bit of a rocking. They like that one, don't they?
We'll wait to see. Wait to see. He might not get dismissed.
He's getting a lovely little pat on the shoulder from Shaheen here. He knows, this is just wanting you to the whole world to swallow you up situation.
Last ball of a punishing over. Naseem in, waits for it, it sits up for Butler, and it's 4 more. Out through deep mid-wickets. Well, that is an absolute pummeling during that over. It's the end of the 5th, and England have moved from 42 to 67 in the blink of an eye. Butler, 29 from 13. Salt, 30 from 17, but we're seeing Jos Buttler at his brutal best out there right now. Catherine Sciver-Brunt, a few more thoughts from you, and then Henry Moran is coming in.
Yeah, it's brutal, isn't it? It's like Jos just decided he's just going to switch gears and bat in the same way, I should say, as Phil is, and they've both found themselves 30 off practically 15 each on average. So yes, they are certainly bringing it to Pakistan, and we said earlier, didn't we, that we believe they'd get this done in a quicker fashion that you believe, and it's looking like 15 overs. This is a bit of a hammering going on at the minute.
Well, it is, and this is, from an England point of view, very encouraging from their opening partnership. 67 without loss, chasing 158. Amir starts a new over, and Salt just guides it away for 4. That is beautiful. If we've seen the power, well, how's that for the finesse? Just the smallest of gaps between backward point and a field of probably 5 yards to his left.
They've done that easily from the start, and that just, the confidence, the placement, using of the pace, like the angled bat, that's very much on purpose, and they've done that easy from the start, that particular shot actually.
Well, this is
all they can do is put their hands on their hips and smile. It's one of those days, I think.
It's brutal, isn't it? 71 without loss. We're only in the 6th over. Here comes Amir, left arm over the wicket. That's quick, hostile. And it goes through the gloves of the keeper down towards the fine leg boundary, and it's more runs for England. I'm not sure if there was bat on it. I think it has been signalled as runs, so he's dropped it, and it's 4.
And Babar Azam is not happy. He was asking the umpire whether there was bat on that, and he confirmed, gave it runs, and then almost straight away fuming. There's a lot of bum tapping and shoulder tapping, isn't there, to almost just willing everybody on, than thanking for the effort and sort of chin up, next ball sort of situation. And what else are you meant to do in that?
You've got to take it
when
though,
this is
haven't you?
happening. Yeah.
He got 2 gloves to it, and it burst through.
Well, Jaws would have taken that.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
And arguably Phil Salt as well. Next delivery driven back into the ground, and on the bounce towards Mohamed Amir. The first time it feels like in a while that England haven't celebrated a boundary. 75 without loss. They're chasing 158. Salt is on 38, Butler 29. Don't forget, live coverage of this game on BBC Two, and if you've missed any of it, you can watch it again at your leisure on the BBC Sport website and app. Azam Khan, the keeper, will be feeling frustrated.
Yeah, is he the first choice keeper? Because I mean,
there's options certainly.
Without being, whatever, he's just not athletic enough for this role from what we're seeing.
Here comes Mohamed Amir into bowl to Phil Salt, slashing away just behind square on the offside, running around his Shadab Khan. Good sliding stop out there on the boundary. England turn for a second. They'll get that second as well. 77 without loss. Well,
it'd be amiss of me not to mention that he's somewhat lacking in parts of being a wicketkeeper that you need, and that's the ability to be able to get off the ground and cover big stretches of area as an effective goalkeeper. So that is not something he's physically able to do, and whether there's fitness comes into it, I don't know, but for me, he can't be that complete keeper at the minute.
77 without loss. 2 balls left of the power play. Here comes Mohamed Amir. It's a full delivery outside the off stump, nicely jammed down towards that fielder at deep backward point for a single. 78 without loss. Well, it's a very difficult question. There have been concerns about his fitness, no doubt about it. It's been a subject that has been long debated and long discussed, but he's the choice at the moment, and they love the dynamism that he brings with the bat, Azam Khan. But as you say, when you're letting one go through the hands like that, moving to your left, it's not going to make those conversations any quieter. Here comes Mohamed Amir, and Butler up on his toes, defends, and at the end of the over, England 78 without loss. A reminder, Pakistan's best part of their innings was the power play, and they finished that 59 for 1. So England well ahead of the game here, Catherine Silverbrandt.
Yeah, they are dominating this. They have dominated this power play, and it's been exceptional. The confidence, the shot selection, taking care of anything loose whatsoever, frustrating them, and then keeping the foot on the neck. They've just not let them breathe, and they've sort of like arms flapping around, not being happy at all. No one's been allowed to settle at all onto anything, and it's been, like we've said so many times, brutal.
Well, it has been. There's a purplish hue to the sky above the oval at the moment. It's still heavy with those thick clouds, but as the sun sets, somewhere there's enough light getting through to create quite a dramatic sky.
It does feel like we've stole a game of cricket tonight.
A little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels almost like we've sort of dodged through the
I cannot believe we've had
I know.
a 10-minute, sort of 15-minute delay only.
Right then, Harris Ralph. Now we're out of the power play. The ball has been tossed to the speedster right arm over to bowl to Phil Salt. See if he can have any luck. He's in, and he bowls now, and outside edge down, flying to the boundary at deep third. There's nothing the keeper could have done there.
Yeah, and the bowler has literally just volleyed the ground. It's one of them where you just literally can't bear it anymore. You can't win, and he's just kicked the grass. Luckily didn't take a nice big golf chunk out of it, but showing his frustration for sure, Harris.
Well, yeah, and you can understand, as a fast
I know
bowler.
Exactly how he feels.
I mean, I do remember on one occasion.
All right, we'll stop there. And here comes Harris Ralph in ball.
In comes Ralph, and this is whipped into the leg side. Could be a chance of a catch, and it is. There's the first wicket, and listen to the roar around the oval. Phil Salt goes for a really good 45 from 23. Catch taken to the deep. A little bit of a send-off out there. If these teams meet in the World Cup in the next few weeks, that could be a rivalry that continues.
Do you know that kick into the ground, though? Right? Did you see the delay on that bowling arm? He bowled that fast. I want to know the speed at which he bowled that ball. He was angry. And then the send-off, it was like, he celebrated, not in his face, but he might have used some words.
Yeah, well, he
was pumped. That fist pump is strong.
And there's a little word or two, I think. Yeah, Phil Salt goes, and he looks frustrated.
But for an impressive 45 off 24, that was You know, and to be honest, it's one of those games where you actually want, can you retire please? We need everyone to have a little go.
Well, indeed, there is something to be said for the wicket falling from England's point of view, because Will Jacks, who's batting at 3, something that he's developed into in the last few months, and massively helped by RCB choosing to bat him there as well in the IPL. And that's his role for England. Home ground, of course. Surrey player and Oval Invincibles in the 100. And he joins the action at 82 for 1. Will Jacks playing for the 13th time only in T20 cricket, but he is somebody that is an all-format player for England in the future. We sense he's got so many shots, so much ability.
Here he comes with Harris Ralph as backup, and I'm pretty sure that ball was 93 mile an hour, so
oof, have some of that.
Yes. And get back to the pavilion.
Oh, well, a little bit. I'm not sure he said it in quite those terms. I'm not sure it was as polite as that.
We're on radio, you know, got to be nice.
Here comes Harris Ralph, and Jacks smacks it away through the offside. Well, hello, welcome to the game, Will Jacks.
That was also absolute bat.
Wasn't it? That was not unlike as dismissive a stroke. It was off the back foot rather than front, but it reminded me a little of Zach Crawley to Pat Cummins at the start of the Ashes.
And deliver.
I got to tell you, like, I've spent some time with Will Jacks. He's so well spoken, so like soft in his demeanour, so sweet and quiet and accommodating, and just all the things that make you sort of a polite gentleman type person, right? His cricket is the complete opposite. It is ferocious, it is aggressive, it can put you on the back foot.
Jacks waiting and playing the ball off the pads, square on the leg side for a single. Atif Nawaz joining me, Henry Moran and Catherine Siverbrunt here as we watch England requiring now just 71 from 80 deliveries. A reminder, T20 Blast back underway this evening. Tournament kicking off with loads of interesting scores already, some low scores out there, and we'll get all of the details from Kevin Howells at the end of the night here. But if you want to listen to any of it, not just tonight, but throughout the season, every ball of every game is available for you via BBC Sport. And here comes Harris Ralph. He's running away in the green of Pakistan to bowl to Jos Buttler. Shoulders shaking, and he plays the ball away into the leg side. Oh, he's hit that well. 4 runs in front of square, pulled away murderously.
He just stood up so tall, didn't he, onto that, and he just met it and thought, that's not very quick. Here's a boundary, and I'll just hit that with the middle of my bat.
It's very typical of England's day actually so far today. Like, Pakistan are never allowed to capitalise on any moment. So they get the wicket. What did England do when they got a wicket? They snuck in some Liam Livingstone, snuck in some overs, got another wicket, kept building that pressure. Pakistan, since that wicket, have already conceded 2 boundaries. It's only been 3 balls since Phil Salt got out.
Ralph again over the wicket to bowl to Buttler, in position, trying to play that little ramp, but he gets just a little outfoxed by the bowler who followed him, and actually that was good bowling because Buttler missed it. It wasn't far from clattering into the stumps. So 91 for 1 is the score. 67 runs needed from 78 deliveries. A reminder, coverage of the ICC T20 World Cup gets underway 1:15 on Sunday morning for the USA against Canada from Dallas. A sentence I never thought I would be saying, but there we go. Every ball of the tournament available for you to listen to and enjoy for the next month or so. And also, the joy is, Atif Nawaz, because there's so much sport going on, Euros, Wimbledon, but because of the time zones,
you can watch it all.
Oh,
who needs sleep?
Listen again.
Yeah.
Oh, get yourself stuck into a bit of that.
I like
it's going to be brilliant. Right then, we're going to see from the far end, we're going to see Shadab come into the attack. Bit of pressure, you sense.
A lot of pressure. He's gone for runs with the ball, and he's struggled to score any with the bat for quite a sequence now. Shadab desperately needs a big performance. It's hard to do when you're defending 67 off 78.
Jacks is on 5 and defending the first ball. Shadab, he bowls quite quickly. His leg breaks 60 miles an hour. There's no flight in that. It was all zip through the air.
Well, he's been doing that a lot recently. He hasn't been giving the ball a lot of flight, which speaks to his lack of confidence, you'd imagine, at the moment.
Shadab again over the wicket. That's again quick and nicely punched down the ground by Will Jacks, who moves to 6. England don't need to accelerate too much. They require less than a run a ball. 66 from 76. It's lovely to see this big crowd in at the Oval, Atif. And lovely to see. I mean, there've been big crowds for all of these matches. It's just we haven't seen cricket.
No, it's quite the picture, I have to admit, the Oval, particularly when it's bathed in the lights of the floodlight, darker skies. It is very, very picturesque. One of the most picturesque grounds in the world, I would say.
Here is Shudder bowling to Butler, whipping that ball out to deep mid-wicket, where one of 5 fielders outside the circle are situated. There's the backward square leg, the deep mid-wicket, long off, long on, and deep cover out there in front of the Tennyson School, where a few lights are blinking in the upper windows. 93 for 1, Shudder creeping forward again, over the wicket to bowl to Will Jacks, who comes crabbily forward to pick up a single. England might decide that they can just, amble a little bit here.
They can. I mean, they can afford to. I feel like they might do that for a few overs, just to sort of settle in a little bit, just to relax a little bit. But it's very unlike this England team. They kind of like to get home quickly and make those emphatic statements, particularly ahead of a World Cup.
Butler on 34. When he comes forward, he thought about trying to clear the members' pavilion. Instead, just gets a single into the onside.
Well, there's another couple of not outs here for the taking. For Will Jacks, a valuable opportunity to spend time out there. This is his home ground, his favourite ground for him, playing for Surrey, the Oval, Invincibles, and obviously England here a lot at the Oval. He would love to spend lots of time out there in an England shirt and get himself settled ahead of the World Cup.
Shadow bowls a quick ball, which is played into the onside by Will Jacks for a single. So the over goes by with just 5 runs from it. Relative calm in amongst the chaos of the runs that we've seen from England. 96 for 1 is the score. 62 needed from 72. As we look around the ground, there's, I would say, certainly as many fans supporting Pakistan as there are England inside the venue. And
still.
Yeah, but I think the frustration is there have been such brilliant attendances, as I say, around all of the games, and you've just sort of bemoaned the fact that the weather has intervened. It's just been so frustrating. But
I mean, we've talked about the weather intervening for sure, but there's a little bit to be said about the scheduling. I think there's a little bit of ownership that perhaps the ECB could take about scheduling. And obviously, this is a build-up to a World Cup, so that's what you're doing. There's a World Cup bang in the middle of the summer, but it's a high-value series for England as well.
Here comes Harris Ralph then, bowling to Jacks, who swings violently at a ball outside the off stump. Away it goes. So what would you have done differently from a scheduling point of view? There's not many windows.
No, it's difficult because you're trying to use this as prep for the World Cup. But in an ideal world, if you've got a team like Pakistan who help draw huge crowds in England across the country, you'd want to give them a long series in a more stable part of the summer. I think May, it's very reasonable to expect rain these days in May. We've seen county matches affected by it and all sorts of things affected by it.
Will Jacks on strike as Ralph bowls to him again, beating the outside edge. This time a slightly more circumspect shot, but the outcome is the same. 62 now needed from 70. This was meant to be a 5-match series when the original Future Tour programme set it out, but and it was always due to be ahead of this T20 World Cup. The difficulty is because of the lateness that we discovered when the IPL was going to finish. That has also condensed things as well, and so it's difficult. And equally, if the game had been played on Monday in Cardiff, we would have seen 3 games out of 4. So they've got unlucky with the weather. Big swing. Oh, is that an edge? It's put it down. That is an absolute shocker. There could be a run out there, isn't. Instead, there'll be an overthrow, and Azam Khan's put down a second chance. That one was so regulation.
Yeah, it's really, really poor effort from Azam Khan behind the stumps there. Haris Rauf has done the most difficult of things today. He's managed to induce a false shot, induce that mistake that Pakistan desperately wanted, some positives, something to cling on to from this game, and he's put it down. It was a really good delivery, just takes his faintest of edges, and it was actually slowed up off the bat. It didn't come as quickly as Azam thought, and it struck his palms, went up in the air like a goalkeeper tipping the ball over the par, and then desperately diving towards it to try and hold on to it. And Haris Rauf was not impressed. He stared him down and had some choice words.
Ralph bowls, beating the edge again. This is some over, I have to say.
Yeah, 4 out of 4 he's managed to put on the spot as Haris Rauf outside the off stump. Got Will Jacks chasing, sorry, I beg your pardon, 3 of the 4 he's had. Will Jacks chasing after them, and now he's got Josh Butler doing the same sort of thing. Haris Rauf, that extra bit of pace, same thing that England found potency with today, is finally showing some dividends for Pakistan.
I mean, there have been some questions about Azam Khan's fitness. There's no point shying away from that.
Sure.
And they want him in the side for his batting because of the dynamism that you get from that. Here comes Harris Ralph running into bowl once again, drops short. Oh, toe into the back. Keeper probably should have stopped that as well, and it goes whistling on down to the boundary. That's going to be 4 runs in fortuitous fashion from Joss Butler, who moves to 39. England's 100 comes up, 101 for 1. They need 57 from 67. And the question is, could they have him in the team if he wasn't behind the stumps?
Well, this is the thing. They've got the option. I think that just looking at that replay of that boundary there is no justice for Harris Ralph at all. He's had one dropped and then a streaky boundary off the shoulder of all things down towards deep third. I think they could. Like, he plays as a keeper for his franchise as well in the PSL, and he's done so around the world. But the thinking is that as an outfielder, who's going to be better value, him or Rizwan? And Rizwan's winning that all day, every day.
Yeah, here comes Harris Ralph to conclude the over. Oh, is that an edge? Yeah, he's got him this time. Keeper takes the catch, tosses the ball in the air in real frustration, but he showed safe hands there, and credit to him, because there is no such thing as an easy catch, as they say, but he has taken that one. And Harris Ralph raised 3 fingers at Joss Butler as if to say, I've got you on 3 occasions that over, now off you go. 39 he makes, the England skipper, 101 for 2. What an over that was from Harris Ralph.
This is one of the one of the best overs at T20 bowling you'll ever see. Every ball was in the exact same spot, and the batters couldn't get near it, couldn't have any kind of conviction behind the shots. He did signal 3 at Joss. He's mistaken. He's forgetting that he bowled one of them at Will Jacks as well in between, a couple of them at Will Jacks. But Joss Butler is walking back the dugout. And again, it's something for Pakistan to grasp at. Harris Ralph, so impressive in the previous T20 that these two teams played. The only real Pakistani seam bowler to make an impact has done the same again. Lots of pace, lots of consistency from him, and some reward. And just for Azam Khan's sake, because he was going to get a lot of stick for that drop chance, I'm really pleased he took that catch, actually, just because it hasn't cost them a huge amount. And Joss Butler, he just sort of flung his bat in the air after he got dismissed. And it would have looked really cool, actually, if he caught it on its way down. If he'd pulled that off, do you know what I mean? He tossed the bat up in frustration. Nothing to it, really, but he was going to catch it and he couldn't quite nail it.
So Johnny Bairstow joins Will Jacks, and there we go. First ball, he finds himself in a heap at the non-striker's end as Shadab dives to his right to stop it, and there's a good joke shared between them, because for a moment there was a tangle of legs and it looked something like the sort of Greco-Roman wrestling from Paris in a few weeks' time. 101 for 2. You don't want to see players struggling, as in comes Shadab again, and giving himself some space as Jack slams it into the ground, and it's stopped and covered by Iftikhar. And so you want to see the keeper redeeming himself is good to see from a human point of view, but Pakistan have got an issue.
It's something to consider. I think it's one of those things when things are going against you, you're kind of under the microscope a little bit. He's not been able to put in that daddy innings, as it were, for Pakistan yet, that emphatic underline this score innings.
Will Jacks is on 9. He'll move to 10 with a little whip into the onside. They'll set off quickly for the first. Bairstow says no to the second. England 102 for 2, chasing a target of 158.
I'm reasonably pleased with myself, Henry. Just before I came on to commentary, our producer Luke asked me what you thought was going to happen next, and I described something very close to what's happening right now, so I was feeling quite smug. Well, a couple of wickets, things will slow down.
Yeah. Well, not just a pretty face.
There we go. Well, there you go. I hope they clip that and put that on the BBC website.
102 for 2. 56 needed from 63 for England under indigo skies at the Oval.
It's gorgeous.
Isn't it lovely?
Absolutely beautiful. I hope somebody out there is doing a little watercolour of it. Why not? It's just really, really beautiful evening here in South London today.
Shadab Khan with his leg spin to bowl to Johnny Bairstow. Quick delivery first up for Bairstow, who dodges into the offside and can't find a run.
He's been reasonably economical so far today as Shadab Khan, but again, everything's been fired in. Again, speaking to that lack of confidence, doesn't want to toss anything up.
Again, very quick, and Bairstow jams the bat down on it. It's, as you say, no faith in turning it and beating the batter that way. It's all about just trying to get out of the over without getting smacked around. But
he's basically bowling medium pace really at the moment off 3 or 4 steps, and don't get me wrong, it's effective. You've got a new batter in there. He's playing a sort of Liam Livingston-esque role right now for Pakistan.
And he's gone for 6 runs from 11 balls. Make that 6 runs from 12 balls as Bairstow covers up in defence, and the over concludes with the score on 102 for 2, and things have rather slowed up in the last little while. England with a brilliant start, and this run chase looked like it could be done in double quick time. Now they need just a little under a run a ball And 56 needed from 60. I can see Alex Hartley is speaking to Reece Topley at the far end of the ground on our coverage on BBC Two right now, if you want to follow that or watch it again on the BBC iPlayer. A reminder, every ball coming up of the T20 World Cup, starting at 1:15 Sunday morning, USA against Canada. England's first match is against Scotland. We'll of course have that for you, every ball of every game. And it's not just this ICC tournament. Oh no, next 4 years.
Oh wow.
Bring it on.
Does that include Champions Trophies?
Well, next year, early next year in Pakistan, I believe.
Is that where it is? I had no idea. I was
well, it is.
Just curious.
It is, yes. Yeah. Right. Alison Mitchell is standing by, poised, ready for action. And with a score on 102 for 2, there's a little pause, Ali, because drinks are being taken. And as we look at, I cannot think of a prettier scene than the one we've got in front of us. It's absolutely gorgeous out there. Yeah. And thank goodness we've got some cricket. Right, England 102 for 2, 56 needed from 60. Over to you.
I think you'd have to go at the very least to north of London to get a better, more prettier scene than this. I would say at the very least. But it is stunning, and it's a great atmosphere.
The only thing we're missing, Atif, is a pink sunset. We haven't had that. That's been fully obscured by the clouds. But I mean, it's a spectacular sight, isn't it? When the Oval is lit up, the floodlights are on, the lights all in the hospitality boxes and the pavilion as we look across, and then the spectators, because there's so many of them, are sort of silhouettes, aren't they, in the doorways and in the windows of all these hospitality boxes, and then the rest of the stadium's just packed, and so much green for Pakistan. But we've certainly been hearing the England fans' voices with the way England set about this run chase.
We have indeed. It's as you say, beautiful ground. It's one of those grounds that even looks nice when there's nobody in it. You know, I had the privilege of hosting a few sort of Q&A sessions with cricketers here at the top of the Galadari stand on the far side from where we're sitting now. I had to interview Kumar Sangakkara up there, Adam Hollyoak. This year I'm going to be interviewing Courtney Walsh up there, which is really nice. Lovely event for the Surrey Cricket Foundation called Sunset with Courtney, which will be fun. I'm very much looking forward to it.
I hope you do get a nice sunset.
I hope so. It's always been lovely.
When you are that side of the ground, you get that view across to the City of London, don't you? You can actually see, on a good day, see a bit of Big Ben and the London Eye.
And the Shard and all that, yeah. All the tall buildings.
Right, 102 for 2 then, 56 needed from 50. England going along comfortably here. 45 off 25 for Phil Salt, 39 off 20 from Jos Buttler, and drinks have been taken. So the start of the 11th over coming up with Will Jacks on strike. Remember that he was dropped by Hassan Khan when he was on 9, and that's a scintillating over by Haris Rauf, where he eventually then got the wicket of Jos Buttler. And here is Haris Rauf in again, right arm over, some width, some swing and a miss from Will Jacks that time. Through it goes, and this was really almost carbon copy from the over before.
He's picked up where he's left off as Haris Rauf. He's been, again, very, very impressive. Comfortably the pick of Pakistan's bowlers, not just for those 2 wickets, but for his ability to be consistent and hit a good length on a regular basis and beat the outside edge of these very, very brilliant England batters, these world-class batters. Will Jacks, we talked about him earlier, you know, this is his home ground. Like, this is where he plays most of his cricket. This is where he's usually most settled. How will he respond? Holding his bat high, Rauf rushes in. Skewed out along the ground, out through deep extra cover. Fielder is on the boundary, running across to his right to pick up. 2 runs taken, jogging back for the second. And England now 104 for 2, 54 needed from 58. Just wondering, Atif, with all those hospitality boxes, whether Mick Jagger is in the house, because last year, the Oval Test match, he was celebrating his 80th birthday, and his family bought him a hospitality box. Now, I don't know whether that was just for the match or whether they had bought him a hospitality box at the Oval, like for life. Wow.
The rest of his life. Here's a box that you can use. I'm not sure. Rauf rushing in, moving across the leg for a touch, and then actually getting out of the way, ducking and allowing it to go through to the keeper. So it's well bowled by Haris Rauf following Jacks.
It's a fascinating battle, this, because everything that's sort of short or back of a length he's struggling with at the moment is Will Jacks, but everything that's sort of fuller, he's quite comfortable pushing through the covers. He scored thousands of runs in county cricket doing exactly that. So it's fascinating to see how much Haris will hold on, because the seam bowlers, at their core, they want to hit the stumps. That's what they want to do more than anything in the world, is hit the stumps. So they want to keep just creeping their length a little bit fuller, get a little bit closer, just really sneak in there. But at the moment, he's having most success with the back of a length ball. Will he hold by it, or is that ill discipline going to sneak in? We'll find out. Another fielder has dropped back onto the deep mid-wicket boundary, and fine leg has come up inside the circle as Rauf
moves in. It's on a length. It's out through the offside. A chase on again here for deep cover across to the right-hand side. Back they come again for 2. And actually, Johnny Bairstow's just suddenly got to hurry on for the last few paces of that second run. 106 for 2 now, 52 more needed from 56.
So we still don't know if this family bought him a hospitality box or bought him.
No, I generally don't know.
I need to find that out.
Well, I was in the box with them on the day.
Oh! You got to meet him?
I did meet Mick Jagger.
And he was everyone, Ali. You've met everyone. You've been everywhere, you know, but you go
I really haven't.
Horse riding in Uganda. Like, who? I don't know. Anybody else in this box been horse riding in Uganda?
Ralph in over the wicket, back and away to leg, side up and over, extra cover for 6. What an extraordinary shot that is from Will Jacks. Bit of inside out to it, making some room for himself across to the leg side, and he got every piece of it. 112 for 2, 46 needed now from 55.
Yeah, all of that pressure dissipated in one shot there. Just over pitching Haris Rauf, getting greedy. We talked about that slightly fuller ball, and Will Jacks will do that all day long. Anything in his area, he gets underneath it, up and over, safer shot. Even if he didn't get the best contact, it would have been safe as houses, and he'd get himself a boundary. He's got himself 6 there. He's a really, really world-class player. In my book, future England captain.
Oh, there's a call. Haris Rauf ran his fingers down for a cutter there. He's in again now, goes full bowls him! Just beaten for pace, full and on the stumps, hits the target, 89 miles per hour. Rauf gets his man, and he's got his 3-fer. Will Jacks on his way for 20 off 18. England 112 for 3.
Yeah, outstanding from Haris Rauf. He did go full again. It was full, it was fast, it was the perfect delivery you want from your fast bowler. Yorked him really. Will Jacks looking for a big shot through the covers, misread the length. He's staring back at his off stump. He can't believe that the bails have come off there. Looking so good he was, Will Jacks, on his home ground, guaranteed to get more runs. But it's Haris Rauf who continues a really impressive performance. He's taken all 3 of these England wickets so far today. Can he get a few more and just give England a little scare here at the Oval? I don't know. Ali, I'm going to leave you in the wonderful company of Ramiz Raja, but I will say we're going to have to find out some answers about this Mick Jagger situation, because I tell you what, I'm going to go investigate, and I shall let you know.
I did have the number of his manager, actually. I wonder if I should message him and find out.
Just give him a text. I was going to buy one myself. I was going to buy one myself. Could you give me a little guide? Yeah.
Off you go, Atif. 112 for 3 then, but yeah. Brilliant from Haris Rauf. Yorker on the base of off stump. Beating Will Jacks all ends up, and Harry Brooks come out then to join Bairstow in the middle. Going back, Bairstow strikes him on the pad out towards the offside. No run taken. England then 112 for 3, 46 needed from 54 balls as we're into the 12th over of this run chase. Pakistan making 157 for 9. It felt below par. England so far have been eating up the runs. Bairstow this time, bottom edge into the ground, up towards long off, jogs through for a single. Ramiz Raja is back alongside me. Well, what a spell that was from Haris Rauf, though.
Yes, I mean, inspiring spell, and that is what you get from Haris Rauf.
Yeah, he was very impressive. The pace
and length, and I mean, it was a bit of a disaster up front for Pakistani bowlers, and then he rose to the occasion.
Shadab in, a foolish delivery to Brook. He's off the mark with a gentle single up to mid-on. Jogs through. Sky dark now. I can still tell there are clouds above us. Hopefully they're not full of any rain. We had a little delay earlier. It didn't mean we lost any overs. About 10-15 minutes, that was all. 44 needed from 51. Shadab, third over of his spell. And now to Bairstow, goes up and over, extra cover. This is going to go for 6. Wow. Almost come out of nowhere. There is a fielder down on the boundary in front of the dugouts as well, but that went up into the first tier of the stand.
I mean, the other quality to watch and glaring quality between the two sides have been the shot making of some of these England batsmen. I mean, that 6-over cover was pure delight and pure goal.
That way of just clearing the leg, making some room to go over cover, and he's gone again. It'll be 6 more in the same place. Watch out in the crowd. That's gone even higher. Highly impressive from Bairstow.
Well, he's destroying Shadab in this over. 2 great shots over the cover area. That's a perfect with the spin 6 that you can ever want to hit. Just making room, clearing the front leg and hitting it ever so sweetly. terrific strikes.
Well, does Shadab Khan try and do something different now? Because we've seen two identical shots almost from Bairstow. Shadab in again. Bairstow attempts to go leg side, attempts a sweep, strikes him on the back pad, high up on the thighs, well outside the line of the stumps. And well, yeah, Shadab might well take his cap from the umpire and slap his thigh with it in some frustration. His 3 overs have now gone for 20. England needing just 32 to win from 48 at 126 for 3. Now, something I want to mention to you, Rami, is about the T20 World Cup, which I discovered yesterday when I was going through the playing conditions. Because, I like to read small print when there's a World Cup coming up.
Sure.
Now, when we get to the Super 8 stage, there's 2 groups of 4. And in tournament play, that when it comes to the semi-finals, it's always the top 2 then who go through. And usually then you have the winner of one group playing the runner-up of the other, and vice versa.
Yes.
That is the case for this T20 World Cup, except if India qualify for the semi-final. I don't know whether you have heard this. So if India make the semi-final, they will play the second semi in Guyana, no matter where they finish in the group. I'll come back to that. Naseem Shah is continuing. Brook is facing up. Heck of a lengthsome bounce down the leg side wide as it's taken by Azam Khan. 31 needed now from 48.
So why?
Well, my thinking was probably it'd be before primetime Indian audience, because the other semi, the first semi, is in Trinidad and it's an earlier time. The semi-final in Guyana hits primetime audience in India.
Really?
So I don't know whether that gives India an advantage or a disadvantage themselves as a team. Naseem rushing in again, little dab and angle from Brook down towards wideish deep third. They're coming back for a second. Brook's really hurrying here. The throw comes to the keeper's end and it's well run by Harry Brook. Back for the second.
Well, my little experience of Guyana is that it can be tricky playing there because you can't trust the surface. So it can turn out to be a real dampener. It could turn out to be a real square turner. Who knows? India have armed themselves with plenty of spin options, but Guyana is not an ideal scenario.
I mean, is it helpful to at least know exactly where you're going if you qualify? Naseem runs in, beating Brook, who again was looking to play that leg guide at Dabbit.
So Ali, this is irrespective of whether they are number 1 or number 2.
Indeed, yep. So they could finish first in the, if they've got to make the Super 8, so then if they finish first in the group, they will go to Guyana. If they finish second in the group, they will go to Guyana. So I have clarified this with the ICC, who say with the high fan demand for India matches, the allocation of the semi-final and broadcast scheduling will allow as many people to watch it as possible. Naseem running in. Brook, who's on 3 at the moment. Leading edge, it squirts away down towards deep third, the outside edge of the bat. I don't know whether...
Can India, Pakistan play at Guyana?
Well, they would if Pakistan also... Because they go into different Super 8 groups. So, yes. Depending where Pakistan finish in the group, they would go to either Guyana or Trinidad. But if it's India who qualify, whoever ends up in Guyana will definitely play India.
Yeah. No, I can understand.
Which is also, I mean, it's actually one day less for India to prepare for a final, whoever's in that Guyana semi, because the Trinidad comes first. So anyway, and it's an interesting bit of scheduling and sort of back play, if you like, the way things work out. Nudged off the hip here, Bairstow, behind square on the leg side. Will they get 2? No, they won't. The second is turned down as the throw comes back in from the deep.
I mean, that's the only issue having a World Cup in the Caribbean, because there's so much of interest in the subcontinent, and you want to cater to the demands of the fans. I understand, because T20 is not test cricket, so there's a lot of, I mean, you can take it easy a little bit, but this being the World Cup, obviously there's a lot more at stake. But this was discussed, I believe, at the ICC meetings also.
Naseem in, Brook was shaping initially to step across to the offside as if he wanted to access leg, and then Naseem followed him. He's got a smile on his face. It's gone through to the keeper. Bit of clever play between the two.
So I think they're looking for prime time. Also, I believe for Pakistan matches, I think they tried their best to have them at an evening time back home in Pakistan or in subcontinent. But this is interesting.
Yeah, it just struck me that every other team won't know until they win or lose where they're going to end up for a semi-final. Naseem in and dropped into the ground in the defence here, Brooke. Well bowled by Naseem. 131 for 3, end of the over. 27 needed from 42 with 7 wickets in hand. Plenty here for England with Moeen still to come, Livingston, Jordan Archer, Rashid Wood if required. But at the moment it's all built off the back of that really powerful start between Phil Salt and Jos Buttler. But yeah, I mean, no doubt a World Cup and any match India plays is a big game. The India-Pakistan match in New York is that's the big sellout really. The intriguing factor will be how does the US market the fans on the ground? Will they come in Dallas? Will they come in Florida? Will they come in New York? They'll come for the India-Pakistan match come what may.
100%, yes.
But it's the matches around it which will be
I just came to know today that America have become the third most fertile cricket economy in the world after subcontinent England.
Right, and that's based on. I knew that there was a big figure about the number of sort of fans or followers in the States.
That's right. Yeah. So they see a lot of potential. I think this will be the real game changer, India-Pakistan contest for the American people.
Yeah, it could be. Shaheen Shah Afridi switching ends to the pavilion end of the ground, and forward comes Bairstow, single to mid-wicket. England needing 26 from 41 balls. We're into the 14th over of this run chase. Set a target of 158. The other development in US cricket, just the other day, or yesterday even, was the awarding of official List A status to the Major League Cricket.
That's right, yes.
So that gives that league real, if you like, legitimacy, if you like.
Sure.
Top players will go there, know that their scores and their stats will count in official records.
Yes.
Brooke facing up to Shaheen Shah Afridi, rushing in. He's made a bit of room, just slashed it through that offside, but finds short extra cover, and there's no run. And they're signing some pretty eye-catching names, aren't they? In the coaching positions, not least. Ricky Ponting has signed up with the Washington team.
Sure.
So all these are big signs for the MLC certainly to build upon. And then it's another tournament to attract players and give opportunity. So there'll be a bit of consternation in England because it's another tournament that happens in the height of the English summer, of course. Shaheen moves in, tries to use his feet in advance, Harry Brooke, and can almost glide it, but the short ball flies past him. Bouncer from Shaheen and taken by Azim Khan.
Well, there have been two halves. I mean, the first half went horribly bad for Pakistani bowling, and now of late, in the last 3-4 overs, they've made a strong statement, albeit too late in the day, but you feel that now they've come to grips with the situation much better.
England need just 26 more runs, however. Brooke awaits. Here comes Afridi, tall in the crease, going on length, knocked into the mid-wicket region along the ground by Brooke. It's just one. And they can just knock singles and you've got two, and every now and again the odd boundary, but there is no pressure on England at this point.
Have you covered cricket in America?
No? I haven't travelled much in America at all, actually, because I guess, the work travel, the cricket travel takes you many different places.
Sure.
I went to Indian Wells, actually, to do the tennis tournament there.
Wow.
Many years ago. Well, that's, I think 2013.
Okay.
And that was the last time I was in the States.
Right.
Went to New York as a 24-year-old on a holiday. Afridi is in. Bairstow knocks this behind square. Sets off very quickly for the first. Man in from the deep, and it's just the one. And I did a brilliant road trip, actually, and I wish I was staying on longer in the States this time, but I'm coming back because I'm working on Wimbledon back here.
Okay.
But yeah, fabulous road trip from
How many matches are you doing?
I'm doing 7 commentaries with the ICC.
Wow.
I'm taking the Stumped podcast out there for the New York part at the beginning of the week, so that we're there for India-Pakistan.
Wow.
And then I'll pick up duties after that. Where are you going to be primarily?
So Dallas and New York, and then one more station.
Afridi in. Brooke glides this down to deep third. Fielder is there. It's a single.
And then off to the Caribbean. I think it's Barbados and St. Lucia?
Yep.
The Super 8s? Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to see you at all then. In that case, I'm St. Vincent and Antigua after that New York leg. 23 needed from 36. England 135 for 3 after the 14 over mark of the innings. Thanks to you, Rami. We'll
Thank you. We'll
see you, well, maybe not see you in
USFA.
person, but we will hear you.
Yeah.
And the listeners will hear you as well. Thanks for being with us today. Ramiz Raja, former Pakistan captain, but also former chief of the PCB.
And World Cup winner, I think. Is it?
Yeah. He's seen it and done it all. Doyen of the commentary box as well. Naseem Shah in for this 15th over, 23 needed by England. Brooke is there, comes forward, plays it with a straight bat up towards mid-off, and it's pretty easy for England at the moment, isn't it? They're not under any pressure.
Well, they've had a
slower period.
A little bit of a wobble. Considering the carnage we felt in the first, 10, it's somewhat slowed down for them. And in a good way, because we always want a competitive game, don't we? I mean, they only need 22 from 35, but still, it's nice to have seen a bit of passion from Pakistan.
Naseem rushing in,
Whoa.
big heave here from Johnny Bairstow, over the leg side for 6, over deep square. And that releases, if any sort of nerves were building up at all. I mean, it's now just 16 needed from 34. A little quiet period and then bang.
Yeah, they've got a huge amount of freedom, haven't they? There's 7 wickets in the bag, with bat all the way down to 11. That was a free swing by Johnny, and he got all of that. And it's a long boundary, that square. I'd like to know how long that's gone. It's a lovely pick-up, that, from Johnny.
142 for 3 in pursuit of 158 earlier. Mark Wood took 2 for 35, bowling with real pace, and Archer as well was impressive. Naseem again, short ball bouncer, nice. And actually he's got underneath it and managed to just not even uppercut it, just play it up and wide of the keeper down to the very, very fine deep third boundary for 4, practically in front of the sight screen. Great touch from Bairstow, only 12 needed now.
Yeah, spot on that. Ali was an uppercut. Just when the ball rises on you more than you think, but you get that extra sort of half a second to decide to just help it up and over and on its way past the keeper. And I think that what helped him was a slight bit of an off-cutter from Naseem, not as slow as he would have liked, but enough for Johnny to make his mind up.
12 to win. Naseem is in. Bit of pace-off drill back down the ground, straight as you like by Bairstow. There's a fielder there, but he's kicked it into the rope.
That is unacceptable.
Thought maybe a dive would have been put in perhaps by Harris Ralph. He feels he's sort of done his job with the ball in hand today.
He's really brought cricket back 20 years there, anyway.
We used it along the road twice.
The opening bowlers just stick the big size 14 out and boot it for another. I think he
Hang on, he actually hasn't saved it, has he?
Well, he thinks he has.
Hold on.
He's booted it twice.
I think he's kept it in, I haven't seen the umpire signal for yet. They're checking it.
Oh,
if he has, that's a ridiculous piece of fielding. He's towed it
not
once,
in a good way, though.
Towed it a second time. He's done a full dribble down the line.
It's an actual dribble.
And then a right-handed pick up and throw in. I think he's saved the boundary.
Boys and girls, if you watch the highlights, that's not how you do fielding.
Have a look on the digital clips on the BBC Sport website. An app short ball, attempt to uppercut again, up and over. Bairstow missed this time. It was a little more cramped for room, and then it wasn't taken cleanly by Azam Khan behind the stumps either, but he's gathered it together now.
Yeah, certainly had to do a bit of backtracking then, didn't he? He was sort of just kept following him. Only 78 mile an hour, so he is actually, those ones he's digging in, he is rolling his hands down the side of it and just off-cutting it slightly. The slower ball bouncers actually in men's cricket are quite, they're bowled quite often. It's not really a thing in the women's game.
Very effective when it's done well. 10 needed to win. There's another bouncer, but he can't get up and under it again this time. And through to the keeper it goes. Lands safely in the gloves of Azam Khan this time. Right, 15 overs are gone. England only need 10 from the last 30 balls to win this match. They're 148 for 3 with Bairstow on 28, Brooke on 7. Catherine Sciver-Brunt, you are about to be joined by Henry Moran to see you through to the end. So a few more thoughts from you.
Lovely Henry. What a combo. Thanks, Ali. I'd love to see these last 10 runs scored by Harry. I just want 2 really confident, good-looking strikes from the young lad.
Sort of elegant lofted drives.
Yeah, and just for him to be able to stride off feeling like, I've actually got something out of these last 2 T20s, because the poor guy obviously didn't last long in the first one.
Yeah.
And obviously been a lot of rain around, and now he's 7 from 11 in, a very good display of batting from England. So he will take. Hopefully that won't bother him that much, but knowing some people and the way they think, it does bother them.
And he's had quite a long time away from frontline cricket as well, is the other point. Here comes Harris Ralph, who's bowled brilliantly today, and he bowls to Brook in the air. It's slashed away. It'll go behind square. Well fielded by Amir on the boundary. Is that 4? Well, he's done a roly-poly and tossed it back over his shoulder, but he does signal 4 to the umpire. So there's a boundary for Harry Brook. It perhaps should have been stopped, that. Mike Burns signals that they'll have a look at it, but the bowler is walking back to the end of his mark, and I think he knows that this is going to be 4.
On his roll, he clipped the thing with his foot.
Oh, he did.
Toblerone. In fact, both feet. He's actually got massive feet. He couldn't be avoided.
So there we go. England's 150 is up, and they could win it with the next shot, potentially.
Well,
Harry Brook.
He is definitely thinking that, isn't he? If I was him, I'm looking for a maxi.
Well, I know you are, but will he?
Yeah, sure.
Brook waits. Wafts at one outside the off stump. It goes through to the gloves of the keeper, thudding into the hands of Azam Khan.
I'm asking him to hit a 6, and he is actually facing up against the best bowler of, well, not the whole day, but certainly in the Pakistan innings. He's been their go-to, hasn't he? He's sort of saved the game in a way.
Yeah, 3 for 32. He's been so good. Bearing on one of those overs, he beat the bat on 4 occasions before getting the wicket. And he's been
he let him
so
know about
good.
it as well.
He did. He had a little bit of a send-off. Brook waits, 6 needed, and he does go hard at the ball, in the air, into the offside, and for 6. It's a long boundary. It matters not, because Harry Brook's got enough on it for 6 runs to get England the victory. They win by 7 wickets in the 16th over. It's a statement.
That's the exact what I wanted for Harry to happen in that, and I wanted a 4 and a 6, and he's got it, and I just hope that gives him some sort of lift before they fly away, I believe, tomorrow.
They do, tomorrow
to Barbados,
morning.
is it? And yeah, what a game to finish on. Like the momentum there and the confidence they'll have gained from that is great. I'm just so happy the rain stayed away.
Well, it feels like we've dodged one a little bit. It's almost like we've got away with a dodgy DRS there, doesn't it?
And we're in the 15th over, guys.
Yeah.
A quick game's a good game.
Yeah, England have done really well to chase that down as efficiently as they have. It is worth remembering, as it's so easy to sort of think, everything's fine, they're in fine fettle, and they're going to go out and repeat the trick from 2 years ago. But of course, it was at this ground where Ben Stokes got 182 against New Zealand, and everyone thought that ahead of the 50 over World Cup. So you can't get too far ahead of things, but equally, they've done what they needed to do in the time they've had out in the middle in the games at Edgbaston and here.
Yeah, it's just it's standard T20 cricket, isn't it? Anything can happen. Game can change in 3 balls. Anybody can have a good day. And it's just that's why we love T20 cricket. And it's the World Cup is anyone's game. Everyone's, predicting their top 4, but everybody's is different because it literally can be anyone. So people thinking that Pakistan are going to be in the semi-finals or one of them, they weren't in mine personally. I think they've had that great team that have over the last sort of 10 years of being there and thereabout. And I'm not saying they're nowhere near. They are. They're absolutely there. I just don't think they've got that little box ticked. And they've got a brand new coach. Little things like that can just, if you're not quite feeling it, it can just throw you a bit. Where you've had that person that you've had for a long time, and they just sort of get you through that period. Well, if you've got a new person who doesn't know how you tick, that good time can turn into a bad time real quick.
You look at the game with different eyes than I do, because you've been in dressing rooms ahead of tournaments. You see how a team might be moving and feeling and everything else ahead of a competition. Looking at that England side, where do you think they're at?
Well, it was like, I'll go back to what Paul Collingwood said when they won that the T20 World Cup, and they were in the Windies, and he said it was like the environment was so good that it was like being on holiday with your mates, and they just so happened to play some cricket. Yeah. That's how relaxed they feel, and that's the power of a good changing room and a good environment and a good coach that has the disciplines there, but also lets the boys relax and switch off and have a great time and feel $1 million. That's the importance of it. And Gary Kirson's just waltzed into this team, and he's got a great record. He's he's arguably a great thing for Pakistan, but he needs time. Like everything needs time.
And just looking out there, inevitably there's a degree to which the players will be happy, and England players, that is, smiling because they've won the series and they've won the game and one thing and another. But what about them as a dressing room? Do you think they look in a good place? England
I mean, what do you think? I think we've got a healthy selection of seam bowling. Touch wood, they're all healthy as well.
Well, that's it.
So we've got that exciting raw pace that's, the top. We must have 2 or 3 bowlers in the top 10 in the world in terms of pace alone, so that's frightening. Then we've got Moeen Ali, the wealth of experience in spin. We've got Rash, who can bowl leg breaks, but also wrong uns. That's always crucial, especially if we end up with the turning wickets and in the windies. And I just feel like we've got a really good balance, but also, like we talked about earlier, the average age is 30, and obviously I'm not a men's specialist, but in the female game, when the average age gets to there, that's gold. We've seen our Amy Jones, our Nat Sivers, our Heather Knights save series recently countless times, and I think that pays for a lot. And now we've got some of the young lads that aren't so young anymore and actually have quite a lot of experience. How many T20s have they played in the last, was it 14 in the last? Because we're talking about how people having a little bit of a break, but obviously these guys go over to India and play in the IPL in such long series, and they come back and it's like they've played 100.
Well, it's funny. I mean, England haven't played that many in recent times, and this has been the first 2 matches in T20 they've played in this calendar year compared to Pakistan's 14 now.
But well, when did that T20 come about? Where he'd just come off the plane from India, obviously to get back to prepare for this series, but had just come from a stunning T20 series with half of this current England team, so they're not lacking some experience.
And it's also worth looking back at the successful side of 2019 in that 50-over World Cup, where you did have a sort of clutch of guys who were north of 30, Owen Morgan, Liam Plunkett, players that had played a little bit longer and were slightly more experienced. And so, sometimes it's easy to forget that those senior voices can be absolutely critical in terms of helping a team to get through those awkward patches that you're going to have in a tournament, because you just are. It's the nature of it. Jofra Archer, 1 for 31 today. Catherine, what did you make of his?
I made that he was a step. He's changed a gear again. He's gone up again, and that's the beauty of just having a couple of games. When you're that good, it doesn't take long to hit your straps, and it's just going to be about hitting his lines and lengths where he makes people awkward. Like we saw tonight, people set up for short balls, and they just couldn't play them because he was just on them before they could even think about where they wanted to hit it. So I thought his lines and lengths tonight, and especially his change-ups, were a good 25% better than his first go.
Well, that's encouraging. That really is from England's perspective. Mark Wood as well was bowling really quick, and the spin bowlers were outstanding. So how did the game play out? Well, Pakistan were asked to bat first by England, and they reached 59 for 1 at the end of the power play. With that wicket falling right in the end of that 6th over. But it really fell away from them then. 59 for 1 quickly became 86 for 5, and eventually all out for 157 with a ball left unbowled in the innings. 2 wickets apiece for Wood, Rashid and Livingston, 1 each for Archer, Jordan and Moeen. With the bat, England put on 82 for the first wicket inside of 7 overs. Salt making 45, Butler making 39, and then some fireworks from Jackson, Bairstow and Brooke at the end to get England over the line in double quick time. If this was a tournament game, you'd say, well, it's brilliant for the net run rate. It's it was that sort of performance. It was dominant.
And it sends a message, doesn't it? If that was the opening batch of a T20 World Cup, you'd be like, thank you very much. Like, everybody just poo your pants now. If you wish, because it was just an awesome display of batting, wasn't it? It was just crisp. They made it look easy. Timing was there, shot selection was there, hitting the gaps. They did it like they could do that with their eyes closed. And it just looked really nice.
It just looked comfortable.
It looked nice, yeah.
I mean, it's different. It's going to be very different conditions. Let's not forget that. That is something that, when they play against Scotland in 5 days' time, it isn't going to be in front of an oval crowd. It's not going to be on these grassy pitches with plenty of zip and bounce. It's going to be different.
Never know. I mean, back in the day it was. What happened in between?
Well, I know. You've played plenty of games in the West Indies.
It's always chopping and changing, but I mean, I feel really positive for them. The sign of a quality team that is world class and in the top 4 is the one that can adapt to the conditions the quickest and get that message around, because like you see the game of two halves, like the first 10 of Pakistan's bowlings, they learn better second half. You got to learn quicker than that. You can't take 10 overs to learn how to bowl on a wicket. Do you know what I mean? You got to take, it's T20. You got to take 2. You got to take 3 max. So it's about adapting quicker, your communication as a team, and that whole, being together and being there for your mates. We saw a few shout-outs, didn't we? Whoever was bowling pointed to Moeen and said thank you very much, and that's how it works. You share your experience or your nous or whatever feeling you might have, and that's how they're gonna work best.